books, but like I can't think of a first-round pick that they've made in some time that people really lamented that guy wasn't here anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could argue like, well, it just so happens that Charles Cross is an obvious choice. Like, he's an obvious candidate for picking up that fifth-year option.
It's obvious to me, and there are some people who will disagree. I think the text lines is mostly like 75-25 in favor of keeping Charles Cross. I think when you don't reach certain milestones, you don't get certain accolades, and some people are saying, well, why would you want that guy? Because most NFL players aren't Pro Bowlers. Most of them aren't all-pro type of guys, but they're good for your system. And he's been one of the most consistent guys. 1,000 snaps in 22. 1,000 snaps in 2024. 836 in 2023. He plays almost 90% of the snaps out there. When he's healthy, he is out there. Doesn't get a lot of penalties. Doesn't give up a lot of sacks. So because there isn't a Pro Bowl next to his name or an All-Pro next to his name, I think sometimes people devalue that. But could you imagine if John Schneider were to let him go, and then we see the same thing happen? He goes somewhere else. You play 5 more years, and you are obviously a serviceable lineman in this league. I think it was extremely important for him to lock this thing up. I think Charles Cross has been great for this unit, and now it's about just getting Abe healthy. Imagine if Cross continues the ball, Abe stays healthy, and Grace Abel is just a solid starter. I think you have a foundation here with this offensive line.
Also, for anyone who's complaining about Charles Cross, he was not a top 5 pick. He was not a top 3 pick. He was number 9 overall. And I get that with that, you expect, Pro Bowls, your top 10 pick still. But you can also see some development for offensive linemen. But finally, not every single pick that you get, including first-round picks, are going to be Pro Bowlers, and that's okay. And not every single offensive lineman that you have, if you become a good offensive line, needs to be a Pro Bowler. All of us can agree that the Eagles' offensive line is stellar. If you're someone that's like, I wish we had the Eagles' offensive line. Can you name me all 5 starters?
Nah, heck no.
All 5 starters on that
Johnson,
line. You know what I mean?
Cam Jurger.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I'm just saying, like, there are going to be guys that are contributing or important pieces that aren't necessarily getting Pro Bowl nods. Would I love for a number 9 pick to be a guy that does? Sure. I'd love for him to get a Pro Bowl nod, but I think keeping Charles Cross is the right decision.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. Big boys are hard to find. I think you can find solid receivers. I was just talking to my buddy when I was on the treadmill this morning, and we're talking about the tight end market. And he's a 49er fan, and he's saying, man, I don't think we should have spent that money on George Kittle. I said, well, how many elite tight ends are there in this league? I said, maybe 5, 6. I said, other than that, you can find really good tight ends, but elite is hard to find. Then it went over to receivers. I go, how many elite receivers? I go, they're going to be about 15 to 16 receivers go for over 1,000 every year. Why? Because it's easier to find that body type and take chances, and you can manipulate their productivity because of the offense that you run. Well, offensive linemen, those are the hardest human beings in the world to find. So once you get a good one, even if he is not elite of the elite, which I think Charles Cross still has time to grow. And he's a young man with his 4th year coming up or whatnot. His 4th year? Yeah, 4th year coming up. He's still got some room to grow. But when you have someone who is solid on that line, who is consistent, who is healthy for the most part, I think you gotta swing. You gotta take a chance and ride with this young man, because if not, what's gonna happen? You're gonna have the same thing that we see year after year after year. A new name at this spot, a new name at that spot. Man, you want a solid 4 or 5 guys for 2 or 3 seasons and see if you can build something.
Are we seeing John Schneider fundamentally change his approach to building the offensive line? Or is this all just a coincidence and we're making a story out of nothing? That's what we're talking about to start the show. Bump from the 253 on the Mac and Jacks text line. Why does it feel like all the talk is saying John hasn't done anything to fix the OL before this draft? 2 years ago, they drafted and found their tackles. Looks like they found their center last year. The interior has been a weak point, but we've heard many times you can't fix the OL over one season. They just said this is season 3 of the OL fix on paper and now has one of the best OL left sides since 2005. Which, I mean, if you could go Cross, Zabel, I mean, yeah, you've got like first-round picks invested there for sure.
Yeah.
I think I got to see Zabel before I start seeing he's the best part of this line. To this person's point, there are times that John Schneider has tried and it just hasn't worked.
Yeah, he's tried, man. You got Laumea last year in the 6th round. You got Haynes in the 3rd round. And you throw Jarrell in there in the 6th round. The year before that, You get Anthony Bradford in the 4th round. You got Oluwatimi, who seems like he's going to be the starter in the 5th round. And the year before that, you get Abe, you have Kenneth Walker. I think that kind of gets lost sometimes because people just see that, you haven't had a dominant line. So they just assume that you don't care, you're not putting in the effort. I think the care meter has gone up a bit. Obviously, with you getting Zabel at that number 18 pick, you're starting to value it a bit more. But it's not for lack of trying. I think it's because of where the value that they place on the offensive lineman. So that's what we're trying to figure out, right? That's why we opened up the show like this is, has Schneider changed? Has he turned a leaf? Has he turned a corner? Like, is he valuing the offensive line a bit more? And why does he value them a bit more? Is it him? Is it the influences around him? Whatever it is, I like it. And it could be just a fresh start because you're detached from Pete and you're willing to try new things. Whatever it is, I love it, man. And every year they draft offensive linemen. From 22, 23, 24, all right, you might have found a starter this year in each one of those drafts. 2 in 22, 1 in 23, and 1 in 24 if Christian Haynes can come around and be that guy. And then we know that Zabel's going to get an opportunity here.
Curtis, do you think really that like maybe Mike Macdonald is influencing this? Because both Bump and I are like, yeah, maybe that could be part of it, but also there's just different opportunities for Schneider and maybe, a thing you did before didn't work and this time it does.
I think that Macdonald, I think he's helping Schneider kind of see how football teams are built out in 2025 rather than what the Seahawks had been doing prior to about 2022 in that draft. It feels like the Seahawks have had a significantly different approach to the draft in the last 3 or 4 years than what they had done prior to that. And I think Macdonald is kind of a continuation of that over the last couple of seasons when he's been in the draft room. It's a new set of eyes. It's a new set of ears. It's somebody that can see things a lot differently than what the previous coaching regime saw that Schneider also worked with. And I think, too, you look at a lot of the guys that the Seahawks took, you can kind of see that influence of the Ravens and kind of see that Harbaugh influence,
that
too.
I can agree.
You've got, offensive line investments, fullback investments. They've spent a lot of draft capital, not just this year, but last year in building up both the offensive line and defensive line. And that's kind of where the game is won and lost in 2025 these days.
Ain't even kind of. That's like the history of football.
I was going to ask.
You can go back to 1952. Like, if you got some bigs, man, it's a game changer.
Why do you think Seattle hasn't focused on that then? Do you think it's a lack of focus? Do you think it's just failing to do it successfully? Because I will say, one of the stats that you mentioned earlier is Gray Zabel's the highest drafted interior guy since Steve Hutchinson. Steve Hutchinson was not a draft pick recently.
Yeah, 2001.
He just barely had a 2 in front of that draft class. So that is a long time to go without using even a mid-first-round pick on an interior guy.
On the interior, that's the thing, right? They've used their first pick on a tackle before. Russell Okung in 2010, James Carpenter in 2011. I think it's a change in philosophy. I heard, I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was during the draft coverage with me, Bob, Dave, and Big Ray. And Dave said he had a coach that said, I can find a guard at a bus stop. I'm not sure if he said that, but he pretty much devalued the position. I can find a guard at the bus stop. Go get me a tackle. But that was the thinking behind evaluating and finding offensive linemen for so long. So I think that over time, just like anything else, used to when quarterbacks threw the ball 30 times a game, they thought that was crazy. Now they're throwing it 45 times sometimes. I think just the game changes and then the athlete changes as well. The guard today is bigger, faster, stronger than the guard from 15 years ago, therefore places more value. The RPO system, the way you pull these guards a bit more now, the things you ask these guards to do, place more value on them now. So I think there is a change in thinking, and maybe they were behind when it comes to valuing the guard the same way that the other organizations do. I'm just happy that it seems like they finally caught up and said, all right, well, we tried it this way. It's not working. But I think it comes down to philosophy. It comes down to the evolution of football. We're seeing linebackers who are smaller now. We're seeing safeties who are playing hybrid linebacker spots. We're seeing 5'10", 5'11" guys running 4.6s get drafted. Like, the game is just changing. And that's the battle for an offensive coach or defensive, any coach. You got to keep up with the change. And sometimes you're stubborn and you say, no, this is the way we've done it for years. This is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're not switching up. Then eventually you start seeing other teams do it. They have success. You're not having success, and you flip. So influence is everywhere. The game is changing. You just got to keep up.
Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, Jorge Polanco was named American League Player of the Week. The second straight week a Mariner has won the award. What's the real headline?
We all got real quiet when Jorge started balling. Bump, I found actual reactions on X.com from Mariners fans to the news. This was in very early February that Jorge Polanco was coming back to Seattle. Quote, another 200 Mariners hitting season loading. Boo. This whole organization's a parody. Yay, another mid-player. Awesome, so pumped for another year of painfully mediocre baseball. And then lastly, if you hated the 2024 Mariners offense, boy, do I have some bad news for you. That was me. I will fully call myself out, and I think many people need to probably point at themselves and go, yeah, I wasn't expecting, I think it was fair to think maybe after having surgery to, repair an injured knee that Jorge Polanco could have a bounce back year. But I was not expecting a slash line of 377 and 405, 739. That's slugging.
Yeah, and that's for the season. This past week, 471, 550, slugging 1,200. 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. He's only had 2 Ks and 17 at-bats, right? And for the season, he's only striking out 12% of the time. We know that is a big concern for the Mariners. His hard hit rate is 54%. The worst part about Polanco doing what he's doing is that I'm happy and I love this, but I've been so scarred. I'm like, is this going to last? There's no way he's going to be able to keep up this type of production, but if he can just have these spurts like he's been having, I think that's how you have a long-term success, because this is baseball. You are going to fail so many times. You're going to have your slumps. I appreciate Polanco for what he's been doing as of late. Runs in scoring position. He's 8 for 15, 1 bomb, OPS 1,300. All the numbers make sense. I'm happy for Polanco. Ride this wave as long as you can, because when it eventually folds, you need someone else to pick up the slack until he gets back into his groove. But big ups to Jorge.
I completely agree. There will be regression. That's just baseball. He's not going to hit 377 this year. But I think that I've seen enough, Bump, to at least be convinced that last year would have been a down year for him, and this year is probably going to be better. I've seen enough to sit comfortably with that conclusion. It's only April. Well, it's about to be May.
It's going to be May.
It's going to be May. And I think that I can kind of comfortably sit with no, I think he'll have a better year. I've seen enough to believe that he can have a better year than he did last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's one of those moments where we can all fairly criticize the Mariners and any front office for things all the time, but so rarely do we sit and go, oh, I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice chance to do it.
206. This is what I hate about baseball. 206. We're 3 minutes into the season. Calm down. So the same people who say that are the same people who will rip this team when they're not producing, when they're below 500, when they're not scoring with runners in scoring position. You have to enjoy the moment while you're in it.
Yeah.
No one is saying that this team is going to be a World Series champion. What you are highlighting is the same thing that MLB just highlighted. Dylan one week, Jorge the next week, right? You must praise some of these performances. There's a lot of baseball to be played, but if he can be anywhere around what he's doing right now, that's going to help this team in the long run. Give this man his flowers for this week.
Well, I think sometimes it was exactly Bump's point, where you know that there will be he's not going to be able to sustain those numbers, but if you feel and I feel as baseball fans okay, I've seen enough to think this could be a better year for him.
Yeah.
He's not going to be what he is right now, but if you're someone who heard us say Jorge Polanco will hit 377 this year, period, I don't know what to tell you. Jorge Polanco, the second coming of Ted Williams. I've always said that.
Always.
For real, these are bonds.
Happened. It's a hot enough start for me to think, man, he's not even 100% healthy. That's also influencing this. He is not fully healthy, and he's having a hot start to the season. He's just seeing the ball well.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the 49ers have made George Kittle the highest paid tight end in the NFL, surpassing the deal just signed by Arizona's Trey McBride. What's the real headline?
Trey's going to need at least 4 touchdowns in a season to make Kittle money.
Right.
Poor Trey.
Trey, no, not poor Trey. I mean, George deserves this, and they got to do better by Trey over there in Arizona to make sure that my man gets to football. 4 1,000-yard seasons. It's like he burst into the scene early, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, kind of got banged up for a few years, and these past 2 seasons been healthy for the most part. Another back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 82% catch rate. He's the best tight end in the game, in my opinion. I know Kelsey gets some love. He should get that love. Brock Bowers is up there as well. Let me see it for another year. You got Laporta as well. You got Andrews. There are a bunch of good tight ends, but when it comes to doing everything you ask a tight end to do, blocking, releasing, yards after the catch, making the tough catch, George Kittle gets it done. I think he has maybe 2 more years of elite playing him, so that's why the Niners got to capitalize. What are you going to do with Brock Purdy now? Another conversation I was having with my buddy. He's a Niner fan. He goes, I'm not paying Brock Purdy $50 million. I go, so what are you going to do then? You didn't get a quarterback in the draft. You're just going to insert some random dude in this offense and have them go? Go, you got to pay Brock Purdy. He's more valuable with the Niners than out in the world.
Yeah.
But that's just the situation you are in. You don't sign George Kittle and not get himself or re-sign the quarterback that helped him put up some numbers.
The thing with Brock Purdy is because he was the final pick in the draft and clearly isn't like an elite, like he's not particularly elite at many things. It's not like he's got Aaron Rodgers' arm for some Hail Mary pass or, Lamar Jackson's speed. Like there's not like this standout quality. Bump, I think there are a lot of, maybe some, a healthy portion of 49ers fans who think, yeah, find another one. Like he is just some guy.
Yeah.
And they maybe, because they've never seen Brock Purdy without this team, so they have no idea what Brock Purdy's actually contributing.
Yeah. And me personally, I said this and someone was like, Bump, you don't know. I go, yeah, well, I'm an analyst, and this is my analysis. I think that Brock Purdy on a different team with a different system does not put up these numbers, but he is perfect for this system. That's where he holds his value. That's where you got to sign him.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3. The Atlanta Braves have optioned Jared Kelenic to AAA. What's the real headline?
No water cooler to blame for this one.
Now, that's all you, JK. I mean, his slash is back down this year. He's striking out more than he has in previous years. He can't hit a fastball. It's just all bad. He's pimping out home runs that aren't home runs and getting thrown out at second base. The whole aura and vibe is off with Jared Kelenic. It's going to be it's tough to see him go through this again, because I never want to kick a man when he's down, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time because there's something about his mental that I just didn't trust 100%. I'm unfortunate for him, but just grind. And that's the thing about baseball, man. They'll send you down for a month, a week or 2 or something like that. You put together some games and reevaluate yourself and put yourself in a good spot. You'll get called back up. We see it happen so many times. So go down to AAA, get better, and bounce back.
I think it is crazy in hindsight to think of, I had such sky-high expectations for Jared Kelenic, and it's probably how a lot of people felt about Ackley, or just like a prospect where you go, this organization, because they do not spend a ton, are hinging so much of their hopes onto this player. Like it was supposed to be Kelenic and Julio, and then you were going to like add some pieces around them, but that was it. Like that was those are going to be your 2 linchpins. Yeah. And one isn't even with you, didn't work out, and the other one sometimes looks like a baseball god, and other times looks like he's not doing much of anything. It's just, it's thank goodness for the pieces that have worked, I guess, and obviously for that starting rotation. We're going to learn more about Jalen Milroe and Robbie Oots with 24/7 Sports Alabama writer Mike Rodak coming up in about 30 minutes. One draft expert has high praise for the Seahawks rookie class. Really good stuff from Todd McShay coming up at 10:45. Before we get to it, yay or nay, coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Looking at Cal Raleigh, man, could he be in that conversation for MVP? He deserves a praise. He's been phenomenal.
The question, can Cal keep this up? I mean, probably not. I'd feel so much better about this team if Julio went on not some kind of a tear like Cal, but just get back in there.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What are
You gonna take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
The Mariners are all about giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, you can score seats starting at $10 on select dates all season long. Plus, be sure to check out the expanded Mariners Value Menu, available every game and featuring 14 items, all under $5. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos, new treats like Pocky Sticks and Little Bites mini muffins, and more. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your value game tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
For Down Territory, going inside the game. What Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Before I get to this segment, Bump, did you see your guy Mookie Betts was asked on, I think it was it John Boy? It wasn't Foul Territory, was it? I'm not sure. I need to actually check this so I can cite them correctly. About a team that he would build out of non-teammates, and he had Cal Raleigh at catcher.
No,
it was
I
for
didn't
talking
see that.
baseball.
There we go.
I know.
That's
This was the first
love.
one. No hesitation. He said Cal Raleigh. I respect it.
I mean, how can you not respect what Cal's doing this year?
You would have to be insane. I just saw on my timeline a list of the top catchers in baseball. Cal's number one.
Better
And at this point, if you didn't have him as number one, right now on April 29th, if you didn't have him as number one, you'd be like purposely stubborn trying to have a hot take.
Straight hater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yay or nay? We've got some predictions heading out of the NFL draft. And you're just going to say whether or not you agree with this one. So we're going to start with this. Shadur Sanders taken, 144 overall for the Browns. Andrew Berry, GM of the Browns, not looking especially happy about that pick. I can't tell if that's just Andrew Berry or if Browns ownership stepped in and said, yeah, take Shadur Sanders, because now they have a weird quarterback room. Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett.
Two gloves, Kenny.
Shadur Sanders all in this quarterback room. Will Shadur be the week 1 starter for the Browns?
Kenny about to get cut. Kenny, they're about to let him go. No disrespect to Kenny, but he's almost like I forgot what draft he was in, 3 years ago or whatnot. It was kind of like this quarterback draft to where there wasn't a lot of talent there, so he got picked up late. So Kenny's going to be out of there, in my opinion. So we're talking Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun's not going to play, so now it's down to Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. Can Shadur Sanders go into that locker room, humble himself, and become the starter? I think that because you're going to compete with Dylan Gabriel, that's like the first level in your matchup. You ever seen, Matt, you might know this one, Enter the Dragon? Is that the movie I'm thinking of with Bruce Lee when he has to go through the levels to fight different people?
I think it is.
Okay, boom. So
good reference.
Matt sounds so impressed.
I really am.
I think so. It's like Enter the Dragon. His first level is Dylan Gabriel, and at the top it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Bruce Lee had to fight, and in his yellow jumpsuit. My uncle made me watch that movie. I appreciate him for that in this moment. First level is Dylan Gabriel. Look, I think Dylan Gabriel is a better athlete, but I think that Shadur is a better quarterback. I can see him beating him out. The question is, can you beat out Joe Flacco, a guy who knows how to operate a team, who knows how to lead, who knows how to get in and out the huddles, the check downs and all that good stuff, protecting himself? I just don't think it's going to happen. I heard people this morning talking about how he has a great opportunity, Shadur Sanders, to be that starter, which I think he does. But week 1, I think Joe Flacco's going to be so far ahead of these two young dudes, you have no choice but to play him. But I do see a scenario because Joe Flacco hasn't played a full season in like 4 years. He's banged up or he comes in late. Something always happens. That you eventually do see Shadur Sanders. I see him beating out Dylan Gabriel. I see him midway through the season getting some reps.
I was going to say, the way I see it is like, I agree with you. Joe Flacco is going to be the very underwhelming, not super exciting week 1 starter, with the idea that, well, eventually one of these young guys we took, like, it's not really a battle between 5 quarterbacks, like you said. They are, choosing Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders and saying, well, one of these guys might work, because everyone else isn't an option. And Joe Flacco is experienced enough to just kind of hit the ground running while they figure it out.
Yep. So don't worry. I know the playbook.
Yeah.
We've been here before. We're good. Let's keep it rolling.
Okay, next up, Will Howard was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Super, super excited to be drafted by Pittsburgh. A really cool story. The Steelers might still be signing Aaron Rodgers. Everyone expecting Rodgers to eventually come to Pittsburgh. Maybe he's waiting until all the attention can be on him. I have no idea. That being said, Aaron might still go to Pittsburgh. Is Will Howard going to start for the Steelers at some point in 2025? Or, much like, granted, an injured J.J. McCarthy, and I'll say Michael Penix, we're going to have to wait another year to see him?
Right. I love this Will Howard pickup by the Steelers. I think Will Howard is going to be a sneaky ball player. You and I have talked a lot about how it's rare that you find a quarterback outside the first, maybe second round, that takes you to the playoffs, gets you into the championship game, and gives you an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. You got to be surrounded by a whole lot of great pieces and have a great defense. I think what Pittsburgh is doing is setting Will up for that opportunity. Now we're just waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. So I think that because Aaron Rodgers is so old, there's going to be a game. He's going to sign with the Steelers, but there's going to be a game where he needs one. He's going to be banged up, and Will Howard's going to go out there and play so well that there's going to be legit controversy at that position of saying, should we just roll with this young man and let him develop and learn and throw him into the pool like my dad did and say, swim, fool, and see if he can get this done.
I am fascinated. I shouldn't say fascinated. I'm fascinated by last year's quarterback class and continuing to watch those guys evolve as passers in their second year, or in the case of McCarthy and mostly Michael Penix, their first year with their teams. It's seemingly a great quarterback class, and we're all going to have fun watching.
Yeah. Correction, the text line, it was game of death.
Yeah.
All right, game of death. I tried, though.
I didn't know.
Yellow jumpsuit, though. I got that right.
I saw that, and I just nodded with approval, like, okay, yeah, cool. I am very interested, though, in Cam Ward, and he's not necessarily part of this. Like, we've got some Seahawks ones to get to, but I'm curious about what Cam can do in Tennessee. I find him so likable and so under the radar that you're rooting for him, but I have zero faith in the Titans.
Zero faith.
So I can't tell what's going to happen there.
Man, it's we don't watch enough of them to dive deep in analysis, but you look at their starting receivers, Treylon Burks, who's been a disappointment, Tyler Lockett, OG, big ups, glad he got signed, Calvin Ridley. I think where they did a great job was Ayu Maynard out of Stanford. I think eventually he overtakes Treylon Burks, and you go and do that. They got a lot to do over there. They have a lot to do, but the thing that will keep them around is that we're not sure about the division. We know that the Houston Texans kind of run that. Colts, who's going to be your quarterback, Jacksonville. Did you do enough? And then the Tennessee Titans. So, no, I'm not a big believer in those dudes, but I think they have the chance to compete for the 2 spot over there.
All right, last one here. The Seahawks have 11 new rookies coming into this class, and that does not include the UDFAs they're going to sign ahead of rookie minicamp. They will have at least 3 players from the draft be full-time starters this year.
That's all you want, really. 11 picks, you get 3 of those guys to play 80 to 90% of the snaps, then you can pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, Mike, John, you guys did a good job. We know Zabel's going to be the guy. Zabel could come in with 2 left feet, can't tie his shoe, put his helmet on backwards, and still be the starter there. He's going to get an opportunity. You don't get drafted 18th overall and be developed at the guard position. That's one. Nick Imawari. Jenkins is no longer there. Kobe Bryant and J Love. When I talk about guys who can start right now and contribute, I always lean on defensive players and running backs. They're the most natural football positions out there. You don't have to be extremely skilled at one thing. You just got to be a savage and have no fear and be where you're supposed to be and go and attack the football. I think Nick Imawari can do exactly that. This is where it gets tough because the first place I'm looking at is Elijah Arroyo. Is he going to overtake Noah Fant if he's still here? We're still trying to figure out what the salary cap is going to be like. Is he going to overtake A.J. Brown? The other one I look at is Torrey Horton because he is a stretch the field type of player. I know I said I like Ricky White over Torrey Horton, but because you're drafted higher, you get more opportunities, and we shall see. I'm going to say yeah, but it's not going to be Horton. It's going to be Elijah Arroyo. I'm a real believer in this young man. If he can just be physical and show Kubiak that he can block and just be nasty a little bit, we'll be good to go. The easy pick will be Robbie Outs because no one else is going to play fullback, and he's going to be out there. But we're not going to see fullback 80 to 90% of the snaps out there. So I'm going to say yes, and it's easy. It's the first 3 guys that we're taking, Zabel, Imawari, Arroyo.
What do you make of people asking if Nick Imawari should be like your nickel?
No, I don't think he's a nickel guy.
Yeah.
No, that's Spoon all day. Keep Spoon there. He's versatile. Imawari is he's a bigger guy. I wouldn't say he can't play nickel, but I think he thrives in space, and that's not where the nickel operates.
So then I can guess your answer to this question. He has drawn so many comparisons to Cam Chancellor, right? So many people are like, oh, he can bring the boom back to the secondary. Do you think it's an unfair comparison? Not just because Cam set an unreal kind of ceiling, but are they different kinds of safeties? They're
the same style, but not the same player. I mean, Cam is a big human being. And Nick is not small either, but it's fair to look for that comparison. Like when we were talking running backs, when it came to Amarian Hampton, I compared him to Jonathan Taylor. He ain't going to be Jonathan Taylor. I don't think he is, but they have some similarities in body types and play style. There are similarities there, but I'm not ready to say Imawari is going to be the Ring of Honor.
Todd McShay has high praise for the Seahawks 2025 rookie class coming your way next.
call them butter because they're on a roll.
Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write.
Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series. They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. 400 new and used RVs, plus manufactured homes. Over 1,000 floor plan options. It's your best chance to save all year. Browse the exhibits, chat with the experts, free parking. Tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Friends of Waterfront Park is announcing the Meet Me at Waterfront Park 5K on May 31st. Kick off a season of celebrations leading up to the grand opening of Waterfront Park with this all-abilities race. Experience Seattle's reimagined waterfront and be a part of history with this first ever 5K at Waterfront Park. Presented by Brooks Running. Seattle's new Waterfront Park is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. 5K registration and full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.com. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Hey Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Michael Bumpus here, and golfers, how does a golf handicap level up your game? First, it levels the playing field so you can compete with golfers of any skill level. 2, shooting par isn't realistic for many of us, so a handicap can set achievable goals on your actual skill level. Lastly, tracking your progress helps you set goals towards improvement like I have. You can get a handicap index in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, you got it.
To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Georgetown License reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Georgetown License, taking care of all your vehicle and vessel licensing needs for over 30 years. Online at georgetownlicense.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are going pretty NFL heavy to start the show. A lot still to dissect when it comes to this draft class. We've got Seahawks rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman joining us at 11:30. And then we're talking with Gray Zabel's former offensive line coach. He's now offensive coordinator for North Dakota State, Dan Larson, coming up at noon. But don't forget that the final hour, 1 to 2, is all Mariners. We've got Shannon Drayer joining us. We're going to take a listen to the latest from Jeff Passan, Brian Rowland-Smith, and Alex Mayers joining us at 1:45. So we've got you covered. You're just going to have to hang tight for a little bit because we have so many interviews to get to. Okay, so the Ringer's Todd McShay on the Todd McShay Show Bump had a lot of high praise for the Seahawks. We're going to start with now the third person I've heard really high on Elijah Arroyo.
Elijah Arroyo. They had to be like doing somersaults. Yeah. And Ferguson goes before Arroyo. Yeah. If Arroyo can stay healthy, and I get it that it's a bigger if than with other prospects because he had the injury, but it was one injury that lingered. And this past year, he was pretty damn good in the Senior Bowl. He was awesome.
Ball knower Michael Bumpus. Excited about Elijah when I wasn't sure what to expect. I have since heard Rob Staten and Todd McShay say, no, this guy for real can ball. And he only slipped that far because of his injury history.
That's the scary part, but, you know, we know the Seahawks do their research when it comes to that stuff. So they felt comfortable saying, look, he's had some injuries, he's been banged up, but we like what he brings to the table, and he's not going to be the only tight end in that room. He's going to apply some pressure to these dudes, man. The run after the catch, the route running, the blocking is okay. It's not bad, but he's not George Kittle. He's not just going to dominate somebody. But also we know that once you get into the league, you start to grow a little bit. I was watching old film of Noah Fant when he was at Iowa, and just watching how his body has changed is crazy, right? He was still a bit bigger at Iowa, but you see him now, he's got that grown man weight. So I'm looking at Arroyo and thinking to myself, once he gets that grown man weight and can commit to being just nasty in the blocking game, he's going to be that much better. But this is the tight end of the future. I know you got Warren out there who is just a mauler, right? And he wears number 44 for crying out loud. Like, this dude is big. He can still make the big plays, but he's going to dominate you at the line of scrimmage. You need that type of tight end, but you also need what Arroyo brings. You can line him up on the outside and get a mismatch, line him on the inside, you motion him. Miami did a great job of using his versatility in the shallow game, hitting him in the flashes, getting him the football early and allowing him to show his God-given abilities. I really like this dude. On a related note, before I get to the rest of Todd McShay, you mentioned you were looking back at Noah Fant and just seeing how much he's developed in, going from a college prospect to now, 5, 6, 7 years as a pro? 6? I don't know. Do you think that too often we forget that these are unfinished products? That there's a lot of developing, including physical development, left to do? And it's easy to do because when you stand next to them, like, this dude is yoked. And he's like 6'3", 6'4". So naturally you're thinking this is a grown man, when really he's got like 2 or 3 more years of growth left in him. But it's easy to do that, man. When you're dealing with football players, because the mass is great. And, basketball and baseball, they'll grow, but it's not a necessity that they put on more muscle and they get bigger and stronger. So, yeah, it's easy to do that, man. These are some big boys out there, man.
He called Jalen Milroe in the third a no-brainer pick.
Jalen Milroe. Why wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Beautiful pick. 92, he's still on the board.
We didn't think he was going to
And
have a
at
second.
this point, honest to God, if Jalen Milroe never does a single thing for your organization, at absolute worst, he never does anything. Second worst is he has a couple good training camp games, and you trade him for a fifth or a sixth, like Joe Milton down the road. Best case, Darnold gets injured because he's so dynamic as a runner, and it's like so different than what teams are used to seeing. Maybe he goes and wins a couple games. And then you develop him, see what the hell happens down the road.
I think that trade possibility, and I don't mean to introduce Jalen Milroe as like, well, you could trade him days after he's been drafted, but I know that John Schneider looked at the Patriots being able to trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers and went like, man, it's not even that you're drafting guys to be your future. You're also drafting guys to have, that extra trade piece in your wallet that you can bring out to help better your team. Like, I'm not even getting those guys in the building.
That's on some fantasy football stuff right there.
Yeah.
You trade guys or acquire guys just to trade them late. I think with Milroe, all those possibilities are true. And he's talking about Sam Darnold getting banged up. I hope it doesn't happen. I wish that on nobody. But could you imagine he gets banged up? You go to Drew Lock, you kind of see what he can do, but Milroe starts to impress you at practice, and the offense changes a little bit. I started to think about automatically how the Ravens use Lamar Jackson and how the Bills use Josh Allen. You know what makes it even more possible is now you have a legit fullback on your roster. You can pack things in with your double tight end sets and have a fullback back there and manipulate the defense differently. It's almost like they're prepared to play whatever game they need to play. With Sam Darnold, it's more the play action type of play. You got to max protect him. He doesn't do well against the blitz. With Drew Lock, you can spread him out a bit. He's more of a shotgun type of guy. And with Milroe, the playbook is wide open because he showed at Bama he could play in that spread offense. He can pack it in, get under center, and use it. I don't know. I'm really up. This is the most optimistic I've been about a group in a long time. And not optimistic thinking that they're going to win 12 or 13 games, but just the variety, the possibilities that you get just with the personnel alone and seeing how Kubiak uses it.
Here's what he had to say about what he felt were the best value picks.
And then Torrey Horton, the wide receiver from Colorado State.
Yes.
Who we thought might be a day 2 guy.
Huge value is what I wrote.
Are you kidding me? And as good as that you could say that's a great value pick.
Damian Martinez in the
7th round.
I mean,
the Miami running back.
And he's a pounder. And so now I like Zach Charbonnet. We'll see, he is a grind. He's instinctive. He runs hard. He's going to pound it up inside.
It's too good a value not to take there.
So again, I have yet to come across an NFL podcast I listen to where they're like, "Oh, Seahawks, what are they doing? What a horrible draft."
No.
Everyone's pretty high on even these late picks they've taken.
Especially Damon Martinez, as our guy Rob says. He's just so patient. He understands what is happening in front of him and what needs to happen in front of him. There are some guys that you teach in a zone right, okay, just hit the B and go. And there's other guys who look at it differently, who are looking at the backer who's over that right guard and is going to look at the double team to the 1 or the 3 tag and be patient and wait until that guard releases to the backer to set things up. That's what I see when I see Damian Martinez do his thing. And I think that if K9 can do that and you sprinkle in a Martinez as well, and the other 2 you guys have back there with Charbonnet and McIntosh, this could be a deadly backfield. And then imagine the package with Milroe back there, and you still got the running backs back there. You still got the tight ends. I mean, listen, the OC in me is drawing up plays every night thinking about how they can use Milroe and open up this offense. But it's about Sam Darnold, though. I know we're happy about Milroe. We're excited because he's an athlete. Sam Darnold gives his team the best chance to win right now.
Now, it is about Sam Darnold. But let's have some fun talking about Jalen a little bit longer. I know you're going to be excited to ask some questions about his time at Bama. Jalen Milroe and Robbie Oots were both teammates for the Crimson Tide, and 24/7 Sports Alabama writer Mike Rodak joins us next.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawks history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down every pick and how the Hawks came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Emmanwori.
Kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to go out there, then we'll do that.
Exclusive insider content on the Seattle Sports app and YouTube, and the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logo apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk hauling, donations, and recycling. We'll give you an exact price before we start the job and get it done with a smile. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news from our friends at Swedish. They're adding a second Cyberknife. Patients can now receive Cyberknife treatment at Swedish Cherry Hill and First Hill campuses. As many 710 listeners know, Cyberknife is a non-invasive, non-surgical treatment option for prostate cancer with proven results. It uses advanced technology to track your slightest body movements while adjusting in real time to deliver radiation with extreme precision. Healthy surrounding tissue and organs are spared from radiation. The end result? Excellent long-term cancer control and significantly reduced side effects. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is typically only 5 days, with each session lasting less than an hour. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, a.k.a. only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are back in action today, taking on the Angels. It's the first of a short 2-game series. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. The 49ers and tight end George Kittle have agreed to a new contract extension through the 2029 season. Per ESPN, that includes $40 million, fully guaranteed.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
Some interesting new Seahawks, Jalen Milroe and Robbie Oots. Let's learn a bit more about them. Alabama writer Mike Rodak for 24/7 Sports joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Mike, how's it going?
Going pretty well. How are you?
I'm great. It was a really, really fun Seahawks draft, and my co-host Michael Bumpus and I have had an especially great time talking about Jalen Milroe. We are going to get to Oots in just a second, but obviously I'm going to start with Jalen. Where did you expect Jalen might be drafted round-wise?
I mean, this is kind of where I expected him going into last season. I remember I talked to a GM pretty early on, it was before the Georgia game last year, and basically asked, like, where do you think this guy's going to go? And they said third round was, about where they had him. And they said there was some upside that maybe he can move up into the second or even, first, but could also be an early day 3 pick. And that was kind of where the NFL, I think, was on him at the beginning of last season. That was right before the Georgia game, which I think elevated his stock. And then obviously he had some games later in that season that kind of knocked his stock down a little bit, but not terribly surprised. I mean, maybe there was some late momentum before the draft where people were talking about him as a potential early second round pick or even late first. Maybe that had to do with him being invited to the green room, which is still a little bit strange that happened. But I feel like the third round the whole time was really where he belonged based on having some really elite traits, but also having some things that he needs to work on. That's a prototypical third round pick to me.
What is it that you feel he needs to work on?
It's definitely the passing game, and I think the overall feel for being a quarterback, not just in the SEC, that I think he never really got to that point where he felt totally comfortable as a passer, but doing it at the NFL level, is going to be a whole new ball game for him. And there were signs that he was getting it, that he was picking up on. The passing aspect, because remember, he came into Alabama, Nick Saban, I remember his first year was basically talking about him as an option, a read option style running quarterback. And that's, I think, what they really used him as that first year in the spring game and some of those non-conference games where he got into some action. And it was always trying to develop him as a passer. And then the first year that he started 2 years ago, he goes to Texas A&M. You go back and watch that game, he looked like a true SEC quarterback throwing the ball. And there were some really strong signs in that game. And then you saw just a little bit of regression at the end of that season and then going into this season where, the Tennessee game, for instance, last year, just not seeing things, getting sped up, not being comfortable in the pocket, just not making the right reads. It's a combination of things as a passer, but ultimately by the end, there's definitely, I think, a sense among the fan base here that they're ready to move on and try to find a passer that can run a little bit more of a traditional drop back passing game here. So that's, kind of the long way of saying what he needs to work on, but he's got the elite traits in terms of the legs, the speed, his arm strength is there. It's just getting the timing, the accuracy, the anticipation, a lot of those things down that he's going to need to do at the next level.
Do you think that some of those issues were a byproduct of maybe being able to run around, a lack of development as a passer? And Mike, I ask because we spent so many months talking about what was behind Geno Smith's interceptions, and sometimes it was miscommunication. Other times it was just a bad offensive line, sometimes overconfidence in his own ability. And rarely did it feel like it's just, wow, this guy doesn't get it. He's not reading defenses. It was like, sometimes it was other things. What do you see with Jalen?
It's a combination of things. I mean, there was some pretty rough moments where you can say, like, you just didn't see a guy. The Oklahoma pick six that he had last November, he throws to the right, just doesn't even see the linebacker drifting over. The Michigan interception that he threw to the left side of the field in the bowl game, I don't think he saw that guy drifting into the flat, and that guy got a hand on the ball, tipped it up, caught it. So being able to see those things happening, and that was, essentially an NFL defensive coordinator that they played in, Michigan, Wink Martindale, who probably was watching film all 3-4 weeks they had to prepare for that game and did a great job of containing Jalen Milroe as a runner and forcing him to make those sort of throws where he just didn't look comfortable. So, it's always a combination. I do think there's a couple, interception-wise that you could peg on other players. He had an interception against Georgia this year that was off the hands of his tight end. There was another one that was off the hands of Ryan Williams against Vanderbilt. You can't say every single play that went wrong was his fault. Occasionally there was some pressure that I think contributed as well, but there's enough of those plays where you're like, man, he needs to be able to see that guy drifting over. He needs to be able to anticipate that route breaking to where it is, and maybe he'll be able to do that, over time, but over his 2 years as a starter, I'm not sure he got better at that from day one to the last day that he was here.
Why do you think that is? Is it the shift in coordinators? Do you feel like maybe another year with the same guy might have helped him a little bit? Because it sounds like he's a disciplined kid, and it's not like he's stubborn and doesn't want to get better. So when I hear that, quarterback hasn't progressed from year A to B, it just makes me ask those questions.
Yeah, no, he tries hard. I mean, you're right. Was always there at 4 a.m., 4:30, whatever it was in the morning. That was always the story with him, that he was always the first one in the building, watching film, working out, studying, whatever it was. Does that always translate to just sort of the innate ability when you step on the field to have the right feel for what's happening in front of you? Not always. So I think he, certainly going to put the effort into it. Obviously playing quarterback, there's some things you can learn and be taught. There's some things that are just you have naturally. I don't know if he has all those things naturally, but what he has naturally is the physical ability in terms of his legs. And that's what I think he's going to need to capitalize on the most. Having covered the NFL myself, I mean, I covered E.J. Manuel when he came in out of Florida State, and he was drafted by the Bills 12 years ago. And the same sort of deal where you're like, I just don't know if he has it in terms of the anticipation and reading defenses and all that, but he had some physical ability that you're trying to work with. And Jalen's even, levels and steps beyond that with his speed. So I think at the end of the day, you have to try to maximize that and don't try to make him play a style that's not best suited for him. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what Alabama tried to do, different coordinators the last 2 years. And I think they got the most out of him that they could.
What do you think is a style that would be best suited to him? Like when you're thinking of covering, Bama, going, well, why didn't they use him this way? I know that I'm sure Alabama fans are going, just get us someone else, forget changing up the offense. But was there ever a head scratching approach to his game for you where you thought, why not use him this other way?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some people early on in his first year as a starter. So going back, 2 years ago with Tommy Rees being the coordinator, where they were still trying to play a little bit more of that drop back style, of passing game, that they had used under Bryce Young. And Bryce is a different quarterback than Jalen. They're both mobile, but I think Bryce is more of a guy who can stand in there and try to be accurate, try to fire the ball. Jalen's bigger, faster. He's going to be better as a runner. And I think trying to get it down to a one-read offense where, if the guy's open, I think he can get the ball to him, but take off. And when he takes off, he is so good. Just in the open field, and maybe not making guys miss, but running through guys, running past guys. I think there's a 4th and 1 play against LSU last November where he just ran right through the line. And as soon as he did that, he was the fastest guy in the field. It was a 70, 80-yard touchdown. So, you see this more in the NFL, and I've obviously still watched it even as I've covered college football. You get down into 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Give Josh Allen the ball. Give Jalen Hurts the ball. 90% of the time, they're going to get a first down. And I think if you can get Jalen Milroe in those sort of situations where, it's 3rd and short, just give him the ball. Have him run forward. I think I would like my chances with that sort of offense. But if it's 3rd and 10 and you're asking him to go through 2 or 3 reads and find a guy 15 yards down the field, that might work out. But I just don't know if that's the best approach with him.
All right, let's shift over to Oots, the tight end / fullback, man. I watched a film on this dude, and I always appreciate some big thighs and the gluteus maximus, and that's what this dude has, man. He is a violent type of football player, and I like that it feels like there's a resurgence of the fullback position. Because a lot of times, especially, you've seen it in college football especially, right? Everyone wants to spread the game out and exploit on the outsides. What are the 12s getting with this guy?
Yeah, it's definitely that sort of mentality that doesn't mind to hit somebody, which is fun. And, he was a guy that never really, I don't think ever reached his potential in terms of being a cult hero. I think he really could have been. He's got a mullet. He's got a mustache. He just wants to throw his body into people. And, just never had such a big profile among fans that they were really knowing his name every single play. I think of like John Kuhn, in Green Bay that people were chanting his name, Kuhn and all that. There were some plays with Oots where you'd hear the crowd go, Oots, but there just wasn't enough of those style of plays. I think in the NFL, you can probably use him a little bit more as a fullback. It's a little bit less of a wide open game than college football. So maybe there's more opportunities for him just to line up as a lead blocker at the goal line and run into people, maybe hand him the ball. I don't know. I don't think that ever happened in Alabama, but put the ball in his hands and see what can happen. But he was used mostly as a tight end here, kind of more as an H-back, a guy that they would move around a little bit. Had a few catches here and there. Obviously, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but just brings that mentality, kind of brings that juice that you want. And I think people will like him.
Hey, Mike, you might have scared a couple of our listeners. Not to bring it back to Milroe, but
I'm good at that.
I do have at least one listener going, oh, God, yikes. These all sound like red flags if Bama was ready or is excited to move on. I wanted to, at the very least, end with I don't think anyone's looking at Jalen Milroe going, he's absolutely your future. But I think here in Seattle, people are really excited for hope and optimism for a quarterback. You had Russ for 10 years, and then, you had Geno, and everyone has kind of just gone from franchise guy to now it's just bridge quarterbacks. So I think that Seahawks fans want the hope that someone could work out or at least be fun to watch. So you don't have to fake it. But is there a moment that you can recall with Jalen's career, perhaps a game, maybe even it's a touchdown or just a skill where you thought maybe this guy could work out, or this part of his game is pretty fun and I can respect that?
It's the 2 LSU games, I think, that were his best, last 2 years. And I referenced, the 4th and 1 play from last year's LSU game. Go watch that play. It looks like it's just going to be a quarterback sneak, and he turns it into, like I said, a 70, 80-yard touchdown run. He has that sort of ability. And there's actually 2 different LSU defensive coordinators, and for some reason, he just figured out how to beat that defense twice. I think he scored 8 rushing touchdowns between those 2 games. So go back and look at those 2 games in terms of how he was used what he did best in those games, and it wasn't throwing the ball a whole lot, to be honest. It was more with his legs. I think he had well over 100 rushing yards in both of those games. That's probably how you're going to have to try to use him. But he has, like I said, if you're looking for the peak of his passing ability, the 2023 Texas A&M game is probably the one you'd want to look at. So those are probably his best moments. Maybe the Georgia game in the SEC championship 2 years ago. The stats weren't really great, but he played a really clean game. Again, there's just, by the end, the Oklahoma game, the Michigan game, and the bowl game, going back to the Tennessee game last year, just a little bit of regression. I think fans are ready to move on here, and I think they hope and wished for the best for him, but I don't know if it would have been the most comfortable situation if he had tried to return to Alabama for another year.
Speaking on being ready to move on, how are Bama fans feeling about Grubb being down south and leading this offense?
I think there was a lot of kind of tenuous optimism with him, or there has been, because remember they tried to get him 2 years ago when Tommy Rees got hired as offensive coordinator. Well, Nick Saban was trying to interview Ryan Grubb when he was still with Washington at the time. He ended up staying with Washington with Kalen DeBoer, and then ended up coming to Alabama with DeBoer, and then left again to go to Seattle to the Seahawks. And I think Alabama fans are like, why can't we get this guy? Like, why can't we keep this guy? So now he's finally here for the third time, and like, all right, just stay. Like, we actually have you now. And I think it's just looking back at what he did with Washington 2 years ago. I think that's kind of the hope, is that they can turn what DeBoer and Grubb did with Michael Penix 2023, throwing the ball, being one of the most prolific offenses in the country, make that happen in Alabama this year, whether it's Ty Simpson, who's replacing Jalen Miller at quarterback, or maybe it's Keelan Russell, the 5-star freshman that's coming in. They want Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer to do that, whatever they did with Michael Penix, replicate it. That's what they want. So I think there's, again, a lot of optimism with Ryan Grubb, but, there's obviously a hope, I think, that his college kind of prowess is going to be better than what he showed in the NFL, too.
Yeah, I know that Bump, I know we're only keeping you for 30 seconds here, but Mike, I know Bump probably feels like Grubb would still be, like, as a college coordinator, it's like you can make magic.
Be good.
Yeah, he's going to be great.
His matchups all day to be had in college.
Yeah. So you're going to have fun covering him. I think it's going to look a lot better than it did up here in Seattle. Just completely different tool sets there. He is 24 Sports Alabama writer Mike Rodak. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Have a good one. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. Which rookie pass catcher will have the best year in 2025? And I will hold you to this prediction. If you're wrong,
okay,
that's your job.
What if I'm right?
Then you win forever.
And win forever. Perfect. You guys know the first receiver drafted was McMillan out of Arizona. Then you went Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Golden at Texas. Higgins out of Ohio State. Luther Burden at Missouri. But I'm stopping in L.A. and I'm going Trey Harris with Ole Miss. And the reason why I'm going Trey Harris with Ole Miss, talked to a few people over there in that building, and they're saying, look, it's Ladd McConkey, and then everything else is up for grabs. And Ladd McConkey is not the downfield type of receiver. You got Luther Burden, who I talked about yesterday, who I love. I think he's going to be the run-out-the-catch type of guy. He's got to compete over there. Jaden Higgins could have a good one. Matthew Golden has some competition. They're not extremely talented with Green Bay, but they're deep. And then Emeka, you have one of the godfathers over there that he has to share the rock with. But with Trey Harris, they want him to come in and be that number one guy. What does Justin Herbert and that offense like to do? Push the football down the field. That's where he excels. I think that out of all these guys, and big ups to McMillan, bear down for Curtis. But the quarterback situation over there, we still got to see Bryce Young put together more games. Ended the season great, but we still got some to see. So, no, I'm going Trey Harris out of Ole Miss with the Chargers. He will have the best year out of these pass catchers.
Speaking of rookies, not a pass catcher, but a reminder that Seahawks rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman joining us in less than 10 minutes. Second down. Who will be the fan favorite for the 12s?
We already talked about him. Big ol' Oots. Big ol' Oots.
Yeah, yep. No, you're right.
We can see it now. You're going to put him on the field goal team, field goal block. He's going to be a fullback. He's just going to make the type of plays that have the people yelling, ooh. So I know they didn't do it in Bama a lot, but sometimes players like him take it to the next level and just find their role, right? Find their personality, and it just sticks and it works. And I think that if he can be a dynamic fullback here, he'll lock it down for 4 to 5 years. Special teams where he'll make some plays as well. He's got the name, he's got the body, and he's playing the position. I feel like people here, they really love the underdog position, right? And the fullback is the underdog as it gets. You're not going to get a lot of touches. You're there just to do the dirty work. Oots is his last name. It's going to be him by far easily. They loved Bobo last year. You know, it was all about Bobo a couple years ago. Now it's Oots.
Oots is his name and something is his game. We got to figure out the answer to that, but I don't know what rhymes with Oots other than oops.
I liked what you did yesterday.
Oots, I did it again when he gets 2 touchdowns. I call it. No one else can use it. No, I said everyone else can use it. But Oots is his name and something is his game. We'll figure it out. We'll spend some time during the break. 3rd down. What do you like about the Seahawks free agent signings?
I love that they said, look, we didn't address the defense a lot during the draft. 2 picks out of 11 were defensive guys. When it comes to these free agents, man, you got 2 corners, you got a linebacker, you got 5 edge, you have 3 defensive line guys. They really address the defense when it comes to this. Most of these guys aren't going to make the team. Most of these guys aren't going to make the practice squad. But like I've always said, if there is a side of the ball where you can find these diamonds in the rough early and they get out there and just ball out and play, it's on defense, man. Defense and running back. And because they have so many opportunities with all the guys that they have here, I love it. That quarterback position, needs some competition. I was surprised that they didn't draft a cornerback during this draft because it's Reek, it's Spoon, it's Job, and then there's a bunch of guys that no one really knows, bars. But defense is where, and the reason why they didn't go heavy defense, you can look at John Schneider and he said, it's because of circumstances. I get that. But your focus was the offense. You knew this offense needed to get better in multiple spots. I'm looking for a diamond in the rough when it comes to these undrafted free agents. If you don't know their names, go look them up. Get to know them. 2 of these guys are going to make the roster and contribute.
4th down. We just spoke with 24/7 Sports' Mike Rodak, who covers the Crimson Tide. Learned a bit more about Milroe and Oots. Anything stand out?
Yeah, when he started talking about him not progressing as far as reading coverages and stuff, I got concerned, and the Texans got concerned, as you should. But then I went back and thought about what I know about Mike Macdonald, AD, Kubiak, everyone involved. They pride themselves on being great teachers. So if you are a great teacher, you're going to get this young man right. And if he struggles at reading certain coverages, you do things as a play caller to make things simple for him. This is your read. Split the field in half. This is your read. Forget that side of the football field. You're going to use them in the run game to kind of loosen the defense up. There are things you can do to help. So now I'm going to be looking at how he progresses when it comes to anticipating throws and reading these coverages. He's going to get a lot of reps during the preseason, as he should. That's going to be fun to see. But this is a true development pick right here, and I think he landed in the right spot, man. I don't know a lot of the coaching staffs like I do this one. Obviously, I do know some guys in some places, but they pride themselves on that. Yeah. And when you have a physical talent like this dude, he's going to make mistakes, but you're going to give him a few more opportunities. I told my buddy and my kid that I trained who just signed with the Patriots, so you're an undrafted free agent, you can't make no mistakes. You got to be early, leave late, no assignment errors. A guy like Milroe, because of just his physical, is going to be allowed to make some of these mistakes.
Have you ever played with or even coached anyone or known anyone who truly did not care at all a little bit? And you were like, why are you even here?
Yeah. There were some guys. Yeah. Oh, who told me this story?
Oh, I want to hear it.
I think B. Walt told me this story.
Oh my God, I feel like we're gossiping. Okay, tell us. Spill that tea bump.
He said there's this guy on the Seahawks, or the Seahawks or Jags, whichever one team he played for, and he knew he wasn't going to make the team, right?
Okay.
So he said his goal was that every kickoff was to run down as hard as he can and try to smack somebody so he knocks himself out and gets paid.
He was trying to get an injury settlement?
He was trying to get an injury settlement. He goes, I'm just going to knock myself out, dog.
I didn't see where it was going at first. And I was like, okay, is it going to be take as much merchandise as he can? Nah. Is it going to be? No, he was trying to get hurt so that he can get that injury settlement.
Yep.
No, did it work?
I don't know. I got to follow up.
Oh, that's really funny. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. We're going to hear from one of the Seahawks' newest rookies, rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman, joining us next.
Call them Butter because they're on a roll. Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write. Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series.
They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Well, turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your vehicle today, pay you right up front, but it gets way better. Because once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I was recently at Wayscar Ford getting service on my new Bronco and caught up with Mark, the GM. They've been sharing their profits with customers utilizing this program for several years now. In fact, there's a whole page on their website dedicated to photos of happy customers with those giant, oversized checks. It's awesome. He said people take advantage of the program because it's so much easier than selling a car yourself, and you get way more money than if you were to just trade it in. Wayscar Ford offers a way to get a lot more money for your car without having to go through the hassle of trying to sell it yourself. It's a no-brainer, and it's only at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn for over 103 years. WayscarFord.com.
Right now, have beautiful, ultra-efficient, clean technology windows installed and pay $0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 18 months. Only from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. And they'll even pay your sales tax. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Friends of Waterfront Park is announcing the Meet Me at Waterfront Park 5K on May 31st, an all-abilities race presented by Brooks Running. 5K registration and full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Michael Bumpus here, and have you ever thought, I'm not good enough to get a golf handicap, or I don't play enough golf to get one? Maybe you just like to have fun and don't think you need one. Think again. Any golfer, whether they're highly skilled or just starting out, can get a handicap. It can turn any round into a competition, for fun, or for a club trophy. You can get a handicap in 3 easy steps. Sign up for a handicap ID, post your scores, and after 3 18-hole rounds, boom, you got it. To learn more, visit wagolf.org/710.
Bundy Carpets reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Parents, please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Bundy Carpets, a second-generation family-owned business celebrating 50 years of serving Marysville. Online at bundycarpets.com.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second CyberKnife in Seattle. CyberKnife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the CyberKnife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we are going to get Seahawks rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman on the line in just 1 second. Bump, I had some leftover cuts from Todd McShay that I wanted to get to. I really liked this one. It was about the draft as a whole. He said he felt like Schneider had a reawakening.
Schneider had a reawakening. This offseason. We're going to get younger. We're going to get tougher. We're going to get harder. We're going to get more physical, and it's going to be a nasty 5-hour flight back to the East Coast for you. Have fun. Get out of here.
Banging on that desk. We're going to get nasty. We're going to get more physical. We're going to get tougher. We're going to kill you with our hands.
I hate everybody.
Is that how you felt leaving this draft, though? Like, was there like a feeling that you had of it being different, more exciting?
See, my draft experience was a bit different because obviously I covered the first 2 rounds, right? Mm-hmm. And I was so exhausted on Saturday. I'm just watching my kids play, man. Yeah. I'll catch up on the draft when I can. And then people are asking me questions about guys been drafted. I go, honestly, I don't know yet. Like, just give me some time. And I left feeling like they did get tougher and they got younger and they got some insurance policies.
Yeah, swaggier.
Swaggier, yes.
I like Schneider throwing swag into his list of like guys that he wanted, of like tough, nasty, smart, accountable was another word that he used, and then swaggy. Seahawks rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Mason, how's it going?
Very good, living the dream. How are you?
Hey, congratulations! What was that experience like?
I'd say very surreal and a pretty big blessing for me and my family. Just, I didn't know it all during the process. My agent had told me it was 50-50 on if I get drafted or not. So, made the gathering I had all the way worth it to have everybody over and celebrate that moment. So
that's awesome, man. Happy for you. So you're from Kansas, right? And play ball in Iowa. What do you know about the Pacific Northwest?
I know it's very beautiful nature-wise. It's kind of I think of it as a hidden gem out there. You got to get past the Rockies to get there, but once you do, it's pretty nice. So, I heard the weather's pretty good year-round. Obviously, I might have to get a umbrella down the road.
I was going to say, someone lied to you, Mason.
Well, he used to got snow.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
yeah.
The weather's good for where the weather's going to be good for you.
Yeah, no, I'm used to that snow, so hopefully the winters stay wet and not too windy and dry. I'm used to.
I will tell you that I've grown up here, and there's been like 3 snowstorms like in my life that I can really remember. I'm telling you, it's going to be a very weird. Like the summers are so beautiful, and then the winter, and it's going to be just fine for you guys because you're going to have this awesome home field advantage of kind of being used to it, and those are going to be games that I'm sure you've already experienced. Like you kind of like when the weather's bad, and you're like, yeah, welcome to our house. But it's never going to be snowy. Hey, before my question, getting back to your call really quickly, were you confused at first because it was Gray calling you?
Yeah, I didn't have any heads up or anything, and honestly, I think I don't remember what the area code was specifically, but I was taking anything that rings my phone, so it was Gray Zabel, and I didn't know what he was calling about, if it was like a recruiting pitch as an undrafted guy, or what was happening. And I realized it was really true when he said 234, and then everyone in the background started cheering or something. So I was like, oh, okay, this is actually like happening. So, because I'd get phone calls earlier from other coaches and stuff, but no, when the moment happened, I don't know if confused would be the right word, but I had to believe it in a little bit, I guess.
We'll call it pleasantly surprised.
That's a good one.
Hey, guys my size want to be quarterbacks and running backs, and then, well, actually, mostly just want to be quarterbacks, right? And then you kind of settle into what your skill set is. When did you realize I'm going to have my hand in this dirt and I'm going to have to be in these trenches? And did you play any position before that?
Yeah, it's a good question. In high school, I played defensive line and tight end mostly. So, I wasn't a skilled player, but I did have stats, unlike the position I play now. But, going into college, it was kind of not obvious, but some of the bigger schools wanted me at offensive line. So, just kind of knew going into that I'd probably be slapping on the knee braces and 50 pounds, and not for the rest of my life, but at least for 4 years in pre-college. And, through it, I think I've gained a lot of life lessons, I think, and a lot of really good friends. Offensive linemen are great to be around. So I'd say truly I learned it after the first couple weeks of practice in those knee braces. When I tripped and fell, like most of us do, it's like you're like, a baby giraffe, if you will, or you're kind of falling all over the place until you get used to them, and then you kind of maybe change your running form a little bit. So, yep.
If you had to use, I always hate exercises like this, but it's helpful for fans that are kind of getting to know you. If you had to use, let's say, 3 words to describe yourself, what would they be?
Okay. It's another good question. I'd say very, very emotional, good and bad, but I'm very invested in a lot of the things I do. I think I bring out the best in people. So I'd say leader would be another one. And then my third word, put a hyphen in there, maybe like a fun-loving guy. Like,
I'll allow it.
Maybe a hyphen locker room guy or something. I love being around the guys more than anything. And in the locker room, outside the building and stuff like that, just getting to know everybody as people, and then, having laughs, sharing some food together and stuff like that. That's just the most fun I have in life, is when, you all have a goal, but you kind of settle down and become normal people just for a little bit, eating a meal and, sharing some laughs and stuff like that. So.
Hey, what's your preparation like now? You go through the combine, the pro day type training, and you stay in shape. You wait for your call. So now, what does it look like for you as far as getting ready to come up here to the Northwest physically?
Yeah, so obviously, I don't have an idea of what rookie minicamp's going to be like. So for me, it's just about staying in shape. And since the pro day was over, you kind of rule out all the 40 times and the change of direction stuff and the jumping. And, you'll do all those things in different forms to stay in shape and keep your body, plyometrically appropriate. But, in this time, it's really just about, lifting weights, keeping your heart in shape for the conditioning, and then working on position drills on top of all that, and getting in the film room. So, just getting anything I can, watching film, staying in shape, just lifting as much as I can, but also being smart, trying to keep my body fresh so that hit the ground running here in minicamp in a couple days.
Yeah, no kidding. Right around the corner. What was your perception of the Seahawks before getting the call? Obviously, you mentioned you're grateful to be drafted and be here. So we already know you're excited in general. But did you have just a concept of what you liked or didn't like about the Seahawks?
Yeah, I think they showed a lot of people last year, what they were truly made of. I know the franchise had a great run there with the 2010 to 15 or so. And then, even after that, they were always a successful team and, a high value team in the league and stuff. And, great ran by, starts with the owners up top, but even with the coaching change, in the last couple of years now that we've seen, it's good to see that the team still does well. And, that just shows that the culture of the city and, the investment of the owners and the players on top of it all, everyone's bought into winning football, and that's just the most important thing in this sport. And, team football, you can tell, there's not one, I think, best player in the league level player maybe on the Seahawks. There's a lot of really, really, really good players maybe, but there's no one who's just sticking out above the team, I think. And that just shows, how good of a team they are. And, it starts with ownership and then it trickles all the way down to Coach Macdonald and everybody like that. And, it's just really exciting to be a part of. And I know last year was a a close miss of the playoffs, but, hopefully we can get back to that.
Well, Mason, we're excited to have you here. This team wants to take a big step forward with its offensive line, and they have so many names that are going to help them do that, and you're one of them. I will warn you, I don't think your rookie camp experience is going to bring nice weather, but I promise you that when you get here for training camp, it's going to be beautiful. So take this this upcoming rookie camp weather with a grain of salt. Just
I
don't
will
read
for
into
sure.
that.
No matter the weather, we're going to have practice, so that's all that matters to me.
Exactly right. Seahawks rookie offensive lineman Mason Richman. Thanks, Mason.
Thanks, Mason.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, listen, before we break, that is the perfect mentality.
Yes.
Like, no matter the weather, you are going to practice. I remember going to practice at WSU, and it started snowing. I go, so we're done, right?
Mhm.
Or we're going inside? Like, nah, we practicing this. So him coming from the Midwest to here, he'll take the wet all day.
Can I tell you low-key professional move, pro move?
What's that?
Knowing our names.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't actually know us. Might know you. But, like, there are players I've covered who, when I was a reporter, who did not know my name by the time they left.
For sure. He's a pro.
So that's a pro move. Pro
Already.
move, Mason. Timeline coming your way next.
Call them butter because they're on a roll. Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write. Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series. They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton, and there is a big event coming up, and you are going to want to be there. I'm talking about live MMA at Muckleshoot Event Center. That's Saturday, May 24th is when it's going down. Get ready for heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat action as the fiercest fighters step into the cage for a night you won't forget. I'm talking stunning knockouts, merciless submissions, and pure adrenaline. This is going to be wild, folks. You don't want to miss it. You can get your tickets right now at muckleshootcasino.com, and trust me, you're going to want to be there for every moment.
Kinematics Marine Equipment reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Kinematics Marine Equipment, your nationwide source for marine deck gear for over 40 years. Online at kinematicsmarine.com.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy. Before I dive into today's stories, Nick and Nwari leading it off, I have two things to say. One, happy birthday to my mommy. It is her birthday.
Mommy.
Happy birthday. She doesn't and has never listened to the show, but
she's listening now.
But I know that she cares. So happy birthday to her.
What do you think she thinks you do for a job?
I know she knows that I am on the radio. I don't think she could tell you what time or how to find it.
Really?
I don't think she could, but she loves me very much. More than anything, and I love her, and happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Again, will not hear this. That's a real shame. Secondly, I've got an issue with members of the Rogers family.
Whoa, hey.
A member of the Rogers family.
Hey,
I got beef. And it's with Willa Rogers, who is spreading fake news at her preschool about me. And
gossip.
I'm spreading gossip. I didn't know. I mean, it's on site. Me and Willa.
On site.
Yeah, preschool gossip. It is real. Okay. Yeah. Yesterday, I believe it was the daughter of her preschool teachers, or the daughter of her preschool teacher was there, and her dad is a listener of the station, and so she asked Willa, like, oh, my daddy listens to your daddy on the radio. I think Willa is of the understanding that everybody's parent is on the radio.
Yeah, fair.
So she's like, why would your dad listen to my dad? Everybody's on the radio. And so then they asked her if she had ever met you guys, Bump and Stacy, and she said yes. And so then she was asked, what do you think, or what's Stacy like?
So
and
rude.
Then Willa goes, her's crazy.
That's so rude. But then she said she loves Bump. Bump is the best. And she's like nervous.
She loved Bump.
She has a little crush on Bump.
Yeah, she like fluttered her eyelashes
yeah,
too.
Bump is the best. And then just hers crazy.
Hers crazy.
Did you see that the mom of said teacher texted into the show?
I think it was the dad.
The dad
so the
of
husband
said
of
teacher
her preschool teacher.
texted into the show. So this is news that's making the rounds. And
It
now people
is.
think hers crazy.
It's big.
Hers crazy.
I'm bothered by this. First story. Nick,
her defense. You get
no
really animated when she comes in there. You get really animated.
She's a little kid.
Get
so
really animated.
I don't have kids. My friends don't have kids. I was the youngest or second youngest. My sister and my extended family. So I don't quite know how to be around
She
kids
turns
sometimes.
into, what's that, Miss Rachel? Is that?
Oh yeah, that's a big celebrity in our house.
So I kind of become, hi. I'm gonna do that when she's 16. Hi. She's gonna be like, this is too much.
She's like, I know how to drive.
Wow, hers is crazy. Nicky Manwari went viral yesterday for a shot he got in at the 49ers during his interview with Wyman and Bob.
Honestly, it depends what team we're playing. If we're playing the Niners, I'll lay a dude out. But any other team, I'll probably get an interception. I'll get an interception though. But honestly, man, I kind of like both. Getting an interception is awesome because I like to run it back for touchdowns. But laying the dude out, like taking his soul, making him feel it, that also feels good too.
Taking his soul. He was asked if he'd rather lay a big hit or get a pick.
Hey, know your audience.
Yeah.
And he did exactly that. Could you imagine a guy like Eamon Warrior playing back in my day when you could really take somebody's soul? Like going across the middle was different. So, but I'm glad he's bringing that energy to this defense because you need that. If you think about the defense right now, there's no one on the second or third level. Ernest plays with some violence, but he hasn't had like that real knock him out hit. Really, the safeties are the ones that can do that because they're roaming. They're just roaming the streets of Lumen, looking to knock dudes out. So I appreciate that energy.
Roaming the streets. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says he wishes the people who cover basketball would celebrate the game more.
It's interesting. Your companies enjoy basketball. And, I respect the job the media does. And it's not a suggestion that people shouldn't ask tough questions or be critical or talk about things they don't like about the game. But I would say, and it goes exactly to your production company, Enjoy Basketball, that sometimes I think they don't spend enough time talking about why people love this game. And, recently I was at a meeting with Mike Krzyzewski, former coach at Duke, and he condensed it with this headline. He said we should educate people about the game and celebrate the game. Educate and celebrate. And I feel, I wish there was more of that.
What do you think, Bump?
I think that there is education and celebration of the game. If you just watch TNT and watch Chuck and them go after it, they show love, but they also critique. So, but the critiques are always going to get more. It's going to be loud. It's going to get more eyes, more attention, more clicks. That's just the way our culture is, unfortunately. But I think we can all do better at celebrating. But what do people want to talk about? They want to talk about why this team won, why this team lost, why is this player not performing, why is he performing? And you can hit it from all angles, but the ones that are going to get the most clicks and the most attention are going to be the negative ones or topics and comments, unfortunately. That's just how it is. But can we do a better job of celebrating it? Yeah, I think we all could.
I think one team wins a championship every year in that league, and that means every other team in the league is going to have it's just that type of coverage to it. Like, we really love this, but like they got to be better with this. That's the nature of sports. I'm sorry. You can't complain about how this society is everyone gets a participation trophy and then be mad that the way that teams are covered is too critical. I completely agree with your point, though. I think that there is a lot of positive coverage out there. It doesn't get the clicks.
No.
I can tell you as someone who sees clicks that websites get. Negative coverage typically gets a little more attention. Spicier coverage gets more attention. If you go to, like, one of my favorite websites is The Ringer, and like if you go to their site right now, you can find positive pieces on the Rockets. The Houston Rockets aren't afraid of the moment, or the Warriors. You can find great stuff. Thompson has become a shape-shifting nightmare, talking about the evolution of some younger players. Like, you can find lots of really positive, fun coverage that's like smart, and you can find coverage on Seattle sports about the Mariners that's like you can find positive coverage, but there's still going to be negative coverage.
Yeah, there is.
On both of those sites and on a million sites. And I just think you can't complain when people are being critical because there is positive stuff. It's just, I honestly think it's like people. the nature of people is that we pay more attention
And the
to
more
negative.
clicks something gets, it automatically rises to the top of your algorithm and all that stuff. So it's blame the people.
We're going to learn more about Gray Zabel from his former offensive line coach, now an offensive coordinator with North Dakota State. Dan Larson joins us next.
The draft.
It's a cool day in Seahawks history.
Is in the books, and we're breaking down every pick and how the Hawks came out of their most important draft in years.
Get a difference maker, and they got him.
Nick Emenwari.
Kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of a dude.
Jalen Milroe.
Wow. This dude is a home run hitter.
However, Jalen deserves and earns the right to go out there, then we'll do that.
Exclusive insider content on the Seattle Sports app and YouTube, and the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's me, second base at T-Mobile Park. In my view, it's pretty sweet. I can see the big thumper flashing his platinum glove, firing a perfect throw right at me. Here comes the tag. Oh, got him.
Another strike him out, throw him out for Cal Raleigh.
Then there's Julio, stomping on me on his way to a stand-up triple. That dude is unreal.
Swinging a line drive, Julio round to third with a 2-out, 3-run triple.
And JP, smooth as silk, snaring line drives out of thin air.
And he takes a hit away!
Come check it out for yourself. There's nothing like being this close to the action. Although I'm still waiting to get invited to the wind dance. A base can dream. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners homestand continues this week with 2 value games against the Angels. Go to mariners.com/value to snag $10 tickets for tonight's game at 6:40 and tomorrow's at 1:10. Plus, check out the complete value game schedule, including all 3 Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway games, May 27th through 29th.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened?
I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are back in action today after an off day. They're taking on the Angels for the first of a short 2-game series. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. The San Francisco 49ers and tight end George Kittle have agreed to a new contract extension that keeps George in San Francisco through the 2029 season. It includes $40 million in guaranteed money.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
All right, North Dakota State Offensive Coordinator Dan Larson joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Coach, we have a Seahawk here everyone is very excited to hear about. I'm going to start with just kind of personality type questions, right? Like before Gray even gets on the field, we've got a lot of people going, well, what kind of guy did the Seahawks get? It's kind of been a conversation we've been having before the draft. So I'm going to ask you the question, what kind of guy did they get?
Well, I think, on the field, he's a true competitor. Once he starts getting comfortable around the players, I think you're going to see a little bit of personality come out as well, too. I could always tell when he was really into the game and locked in and ready to go by, some of the moments even in between when the play got done and we were getting ready to go into the huddle, just in terms of he was having some conversations with some of the defensive guys out there on the field. Like I knew he was pretty locked in. If he was telling some guys about what was ready to get, to come their way. Off the field, he's going to be a quiet kid. He's got some humility to him. But as he starts to warm up and he starts to get comfortable in the surrounding areas, you're going to see him crack a joke. He's going to tell some good stories. He's going to have a smile on his face. The kid loves football, and he is a guy that on and off the field, he can look serious, but there's a little there's a little bit of mischief that's coming after him as well too.
I love it. You've been with North Dakota since 2019, so you've been able to watch this young man grow. What was he like when you saw him as a young freshman, and how has he developed as a football player as he enters the NFL?
Yeah, when he came in as a freshman, adversity hits right away because of COVID. And we actually had to play a spring COVID season that year. And, very rare for an offensive lineman to play as a true freshman at any level, and certainly, here at NDSU. And I remember just as we kind of got going into this, winter camp and getting ready for the spring season, it just became more and more apparent, like, we're at some point we got to have all these guys ready to play. And so Gray was ready to play center. We played him at left guard. He also played a little bit of right guard that year. To see his transition every single year, it didn't matter what obstacle I threw at him. Hey, we need you at left guard. I know you haven't practiced at right tackle, but I got to throw you in there at right tackle right now because of the injuries. You're our next best guy up. He always handled all of it, and that's a competitive person in him. He doesn't blink at those moments. You tell him to go, like Senior Bowl, hey, go play center. Yep, I'm jumping in and playing center. During the Senior Bowl, the practice that we were at, the right tackle went out. He hadn't taken any right tackle reps that week. The coaches didn't want him to play right tackle. He ran in there and played right tackle for a rep until they got the backup in. He's an ultra competitive kid, and I know whatever the coaches ask him to do, he's going to go do it a million miles an hour. Saw that million miles an hour as a freshman, and then it just became a little bit more refined, fundamentals, technique, confidence. By the time he was a senior, I mean, he was the best player in the country at his position.
Hey, Coach, Mike Macdonald up here said that they obviously want to put him at guard. They wouldn't specify right or left, but that at least answered some questions, here for reporters in the area. If you were up here on Seattle's staff and they were like, hey, what advice do you have for us for putting Zabel at guard? Is there something you'd say, oh, he's great with this, or, oh, he's really got to put on weight? Like, what kind of last piece of advice would you give Gray before, you were going to send him off and be a starting guard for an NFL team?
Yeah, I think his athleticism allows him to play. He'll be good with his feet at either one of those spots. He does have like a really strong left hand. I mean, he was really good, and he'll have to become a little bit more technique wise. He'll have to get a little bit of a quicker strike, and he'll have to probably use a little bit more two hand stuff in the trenches if he's playing guard. But he was really dominant with his left hand. I always thought that was one of his best attributes, and he was always really good at running to his right, pushing off that left foot and going. So, I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of the San Francisco run game that's going to get transitioned in there with, Coach Kubiak in that role. I think he's going to be able to do it on both sides, but I would think there'd be a certain level of comfort from his standpoint starting at left.
Yeah.
Sounds like he'll be good in this wide zone concept we're expecting here with Kubiak. Is that – well, you kind of answered my question, but I'll ask it anyway. When I speak to offensive linemen, I speak to wide receivers, I always ask them, I go, when you hear this play call, what gets you going? What play call is that? What do you think it is for Gray?
I think he likes running off the ball. I think he likes being able to dictate the terms of physicality at the line of scrimmage. So I think this wide zone play, we got into it a little bit more this last year at NDSU, and he started seeing this is not just a soft, kind of run around and try to get the ball to the edge play. This is a try to dent the line of scrimmage, put a shoulder pad under a guy's chin, and come off the ball and dictate the terms. And so he does thrive in those situations. Like I said, I think he likes being able to run the football and be able to start having a little bit of a physicality, presence. And then all of a sudden he starts, his motor starts going a little bit. The juices start running. There's some conversations happening in between plays. And, next thing you know, I mean, he's leveling up a little bit, even when it comes to some pass pro protection, just because he's got a feel for the game and how he wants to see it being played at the line of scrimmage. So I do think that wide zone play is going to be something he's going to really, be smiling about and getting excited about coming off the ball and executing.
I am assuming that many NFL scouts reached out to you with conversations about Gray, right? I mean, we all knew, this is a guy that's going to go in the first round. Who knows if it's at, 13? Who knows if it's at 20? But this is a first-round talent, and so I'm sure you got lots of questions, Coach. I'm wondering if there is maybe a commonality or a common thread with the things that scouts were especially interested in when it came to Gray, or something that might have piqued their interest that you liked talking about.
Well, the one part of it is that, he had played all 5 positions for us here during the course of his career at North Dakota State. And in some games there was positions, he played 2 spots. And then so I think it was his level of football IQ. I would share a couple stories throughout the course of the season, because of the amount of film he was watching and the work that he was doing away from the facility on his own. He was even bringing a couple of thoughts, run game wise, or a couple thoughts on individual players to me, and talking to us as coaches about, hey, what would you guys think about this? Or, hey, are we going to, do you like coming off the ball and running inside zone, or, for us, our dual play. So I always liked enjoying and sharing that part of it, because they always want to know about the playbooks and all those things. And I said that if you put this one in front of him, I mean, this is what he loves to do. This guy, when he's done playing football, wants to go, work out at the farm, and then he wants to be an offensive coordinator for the local high school football team. He's going to love getting into the trenches and getting to know what your offense is all about. I always enjoy sharing those stories. Very rarely do guys play that many positions, and then very rarely do guys handle the mental aspect of playing that many positions as seamlessly as he did.
Coach, no denying you guys are the standard over there at North Dakota State. What is it about your program that attracts guys like Gray and gets them to stay? Because I would assume that he had maybe some opportunities to leave, but decided to stay there and finish his thing.
Yeah, we had an interesting couple of weeks there for sure before we decided to come back. And, I think the one thing that we have here is that, this is it's a 115, member football program from a player standpoint. And I think you're surrounded by a lot of the same common personalities that take the field. It is about winning. It is about being competitive. It is about, football, and not as much as some of the outline stuff that I think is starting to creep in a little bit to college football right now. And, we've had it's not just Gray. I mean, we've had, NFL players come from North Dakota State always, since it's been, probably the late 80s, 90s. So we've had players that have gone and played in the NFL. So I think there's always that, like, okay, this program attracts the right type of people. It's going to help me. It's going to help develop me on and off the field in the weight room. He came in here as a 250-pound, 60-pound kid. I mean, he's going to play at anywhere between 310 and 320, I would think. So, I mean, he's had that, I got to put on weight and I still got to move. So I think it's just a matter of, like, it's the people that you get surrounded by here. It's the culture inside the locker room. We don't reinvent it every year. We don't have big slogans about it. It is what it is. Like, we want to recruit the right types of kids here. And so when you get surrounded by all those guys, and it's like, okay, do I know I'm going to get the same environment that just if I chase a couple dollars, I go to a different place? It's kind of a special deal from that standpoint.
Hey, kind of a personal question. We have so enjoyed having you on, in part because you've been the offensive line coach overseeing the entirety of Gray's career, and then now obviously transitioning to offensive coordinator, which is amazing. But one of the conversations we're having here in Seattle is also about a new offensive coordinator. Clint has been an offensive coordinator before with both Minnesota and the Saints, but we don't get a chance to always talk to the guys we cover about, like, well, what's that transition like? What changes about your job? What are you excited about? So I figured we would just ask you, right? It's going to be a different experience at NDSU, but it's just cool to get insight into someone who is kind of transitioning to a different type of role. I'm curious about what feels different, what feels exciting, and just what you think about the move.
Yeah, it is much different. I spent, the last 5 years, my vision was essentially from the right foot of the right tackle to the left foot of the left tackle. Right. And then, the umbrella that kind of went in between them, right? Or like over the top of them. And so, our offensive staff is talking about pass routes and combinations. And all I'm looking at is like, hey, is this going to put us into a bad situation based on what you have running, how long you want us to protect for it? Like those types of things. And then, as soon as the transition's made and I go and sit down in the chair, the first thing I'm starting to talk about is, okay, you got to explain this to me now in terms of why do we like this route concept? So, like, that part of it's been a little bit different. Of all of a sudden now I got to go from sideline to sideline again. Yeah. But I've really enjoyed that part of it because it's, I took a step back away from the offensive line this year, let our new line coach it, didn't get too involved, from that standpoint, just, hey, we're getting better. We got to keep moving it. But now I started to get a chance to work with some of the other positions. And I think that from a coordinator standpoint is always really enjoyable that you get back into, the other 6 guys on the field. But it does the part that I'm actually really excited about. And, everyone's background's a little bit different is we're starting to kind of build the offense back now through the eyes of the O-line. Like what's good for this group and what's not, because if we play really well up front, that means the quarterback's got a chance to play really well, which allows the receivers to play really well. And so our quarterbacks have the ability to do certain things. Our wide receivers can run certain routes, but if we can't get it done up front, then it doesn't matter. And so, like, having a little bit of that experience and now stepping into the coordinator part of it, like that part's been pretty neat just to kind of get back involved in that aspect of things. But yeah, the first meeting and the first practice, like, man, all I wanted to do was still watch the front 5 guys out there, and I had to realize, okay, the ball's going out to the right now. You got to kind of track this a little bit more.
Coach, kind of a random question, and I say this with love. I got a bunch of linemen who are friends. They are the biggest, weirdest, closest group I've ever been around, and I love that about them.
Doubt.
They're protectors, they're lovers, but they're nasty at the same time. Just how much fun is it coaching those guys?
Our Gray would tell you this, Jalen Sundell, with the Seahawks now too, they would probably tell you this. Like, I probably wasn't like the most enjoyable person to be around at times. I know for a fact they would tell you that. But like some of the best moments that I can think back into is some of like the Friday night meetings when the hay's in the barn, you could just relax just a little bit. When we go play the national championship game, we would have 2.5 weeks of preparation leading up to that. You felt you covered everything. And so the last meeting before, it's just guys sharing stories and guys, kind of ragging on each other. And, when you embrace that part of it and you just understand that it's just, it truly is. You're right, Michael. I mean, it is a bunch of different personalities. One guy likes doing one thing. I can remember Jalen. I walk in, Jalen's playing chess on his iPad. I got two guys over here that were looking at some type of a hog sale that was going on. And these other guys were talking about what they're getting ready to plant, from a crop standpoint. And what am I walking into right now? I have no clue what is going on. Hey, we got to go block this inside zone play. And then they all stand up, sit up real straight and yep, let's go. Time to go.
Love it.
So yeah, it is, for never having done it before and then getting a chance to do it for 5 years and getting a chance to do it for 5 years at a special place like this, it's made me appreciate it a little bit more. But I probably wish I could go back into my coaching career and celebrate those guys up front a little bit more, because I probably appreciate them a lot more now than I ever probably did, coming up through the coaching ranks and moving through the profession.
Last one for me, and just a really quick one. We've been having ongoing conversations about the struggles to build an offensive line in the NFL. The Seahawks have really, really struggled to do this. It's why people were elated to have Gray here and why we're so excited to talk to you and get some insight. I'm curious as to what you think might be going on in the college ranks. Do you notice it's tougher to either recruit for the position, or that there's just gaps in talent, or that guys struggle to transition to the league? Do you see from your point of view that there is a change in the level or quality of talent at offensive line?
Yeah, I would say that the talent part of it, I think the talent part is they're bigger, they're faster, stronger linemen than there's ever been. I would say because of the tempo aspect that's crept into college football a little bit more, there might be a little bit less teaching at times. Are we challenging the guys up front to be able to know 5 or 6? Because it's very unusual for an offensive line, for an offensive system in the NFL to only run 1 or 2 run plays. You've got to be able to have a play on a play, and then you have to have, what's your one wrinkle off of that play. And so it's multiple run schemes. It is the ability to handle multiple protections, checks at the line of scrimmage. I think, and we're going to see how this is going to go now, because now we can have communications with the, with the quarterbacks and the headsets. And they did that last year. So, does that slow down the tempo? Does it push it even more? I think you can only do X amount of things when you're trying to play as fast as possible, which is, I would say, probably a high percentage of offenses in college football right now. And if it's one thing that I can always just put the feather in the cap for North Dakota State is we're still an under center team. We're still, we want to have, 5 run schemes a game. We're going to have protection checks, and quarterbacks are going to make audibles at the line of scrimmage. And so our guys have to understand and know football a little bit more. And that would be the one thing I would say, is that it just is, maybe from that standpoint, it's taking a little bit longer to catch up to the NFL way of doing things, because there is some pretty drastic differences from the college game in terms of the pace and the tempo and some of those things.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks have high hopes for Gray Zabel, and we were able to learn a bit more about Gray with North Dakota State Offensive Coordinator Dan Larson. Dan, thanks so much for your time. You've been very gracious. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the time.
Have a good one. Let's head to the station for Hype Train. All right, first Hype Train into the station. Mariners begin a quick 2-game series against the Angels. You've got one beginning at 6:40 tonight and a matinee tomorrow. The Mariners get that 7th series win. This time they do it with, obviously, a sweep of the Angels.
It's 2 games? We call that a sweep?
Well, it's got to be a sweep to be a series win.
Little feather duster. I like that.
Swifter.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the Angels because they claim to be from Los Angeles, and we all know that they're not from L.A. Orange County is about an hour and a half away with traffic, so let's be real.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's deep.
Wow.
With traffic. So they lost to Minnesota. They got swept there, lost to the Pirates. They haven't won a series in a long time. So why start now? I'm on that hype train.
Okay.
It starts tonight, 6:40. Happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Artem Tarasov. He turns 37. He'll be at the game today.
The Mariners sweep the Angels. Bump is boarding. Curtis, are you?
I'm boarding as well. Yeah, these Angels don't stand a chance. I was talking to Sam Blum of The Athletic on last night's Extra Innings, which I'm sure everybody listened to. And I was asking him, like, what is there to like about this Angels team? And he had a really hard time answering that question. So I think this Angels team is experiencing that slide that they do every single year. They're just getting it over with in the month of April. They're like, yeah, we don't need to waste anybody's time this year.
Mike Trout also, he's got one of those weird, like, Geno Suarez type stats of he's hitting 170 but has 9 home runs in the last 30 games.
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to go yard in this series.
30.
He always does in Seattle.
Yeah, he'll hit a home run, but then that'll be the only hit he gets. Or he'll get like 2 hits, one's a double, one's a home run, and that's it. That's all he'll have.
That's what he does.
I'm also boarding this train. All aboard that one. Next train into the station. Jalen Milroe starts at least one game in 2025.
Starts one game.
Starts one or
That
more,
means
but at
that
least one.
Drew Lock doesn't have the second string quarterback position on lock. Say it.
Bars.
Thank you. So
It was a reluctant one.
I know, I appreciate
With an
you.
eye
though.
roll.
It's support though. You support your teammate, okay? But no, I don't think that's gonna happen, man. I think Locke is the guy. Are we gonna see Milroe? For sure. We're gonna see him out there running around, being that mobile quarterback that he is. But when it's all said and done, they're gonna go with a guy, a veteran who's been in this league and who can run an offense. I don't think we see him start, but we see him on the football field.
Jalen Milroe starts at least one game next season. Bump not boarding that one. Curtis, are you?
I'm not boarding either. You've got Darnold and Drew Lock. I think it would take quite a preseason performance from Jalen Milroe to leapfrog either one of those guys, or some bad injury luck with both of those guys ahead of him on the depth chart right now. I don't think we see Milroe starting games next season, but I think we definitely see him out on the field in some kind of way, shape, or form.
I don't think so either. Like Bump, I think you'd have to go through. It's not just Darnold gets hurt, and Locke can't go either. So I just think that's some really bad injury luck. Does it happen to teams? Absolutely, but yeah, I don't know if I see that happening here. Next up, Shedeur Sanders will finish the 2025 season as the Browns starter.
Joe Flacco is he's getting old there. He's long in the tooth. I want to say we're like the same age, honestly, or maybe I got him by a year. So it's rare or not likely that he's going to finish the season completely healthy. He might get banged up here or there. Two Gloves Kenny ain't going to be there. Dylan Gabriel, I feel like, is going to get beat out. I think by the end of the year, Shedeur's going to be the guy, man. He's a good quarterback. Now, are you going to be able to protect him? What about weapons over there? There's some other questions that you need answered, but I really think that he's the better quarterback out of him and Dylan Gabriel. Kenny Two Gloves going to be gone. Shedeur's going to get it, and hopefully this whole process just humbles him and he comes correct. So,
do you think it did?
A little bit. I think he has
to
keep that part of him too, though, because that's who he is. That's why he's had success. But I think it humbled him a bit. It should.
Shedeur Sanders will finish 2025 as the Browns starter. Curtis, are you boarding?
I'm boarding that train. The rest of the Browns quarterback room, I mean, it's anybody's job at this point, and I think Sanders has the most talent of anybody in that quarterback room, so I think it'll be his job by the time the 2025 season wraps. I don't know if he'll be the Browns starting quarterback going into 26, but I think it's definitely his job come week 10 or so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how many people see Shedeur Sanders as like he can be a real NFL starter, but I think that a lot of people see him as like, well, there's no reason he can't be a fine backup, or there's no reason he can't like at least try his hand. And I think way too many of the conversations about him sliding became, oh, I could have told you this. He's just not that good. And it's like, yeah, but a lot of quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of him aren't that good either, or have red flags or have question marks. And I can't make the case that it should absolutely be Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur, so why would I not say, yeah, feels right. Joe Flacco isn't going to be In their dream world, Joe Flacco is not the starter, at least to
Nah,
end the season.
They're not excited about Joe being the guy right now.
What a weird situation they found themselves in.
Good for Joe, though, man. Keep making that money.
Yeah. Next up, last up, Bumps Lakers come back down 3-1 to the Timberwolves. Lakers in 5.
It's over, man. It is a wrap.
It could be in 5.
It could be in 5.
Yeah, Lakers eliminated in 5. It's over. It's a wrap. As soon as I saw Anthony Edwards pushing LeBron and showing him no respect, I'm like, yeah, you are now my favorite player in the league. 2, there's no fear in that dude. There is absolutely no fear. Julius Randle's been playing well. Gobert has actually been better on the perimeter than I thought he was going to be. It's yeah. And then what? McDaniel's over there as well, dropping 20-something. It's
Local kid.
Yeah. Where'd he go? The beach? Went to the beach.
Federal Way.
Federal Way. Yeah, it's all done. We're done now. I'm packing my bags.
Bump's already packing his bags when it comes to his Lakers' chances in the playoffs. Curtis, do you see them coming back down 3-1?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Okay, so no one believes.
That's not board that train. The Wolves are going to get it.
I'm not boarding this train either, but Bump, we still care about you and we support you during this difficult time.
Thank you.
And our thoughts are with you. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners take on the Angels. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. First pitch at 6:40 right here on Seattle Sports. Coming up next in NFL headlines, the Seahawks make a roster move.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
Jeff Passan of ESPN, who joins us.
Where is Cal in the pantheon of the best catchers in baseball right now?
I think he's at the top of the list, right? I mean, just at this point, I'm not sure who else is there. What we're seeing, though, is the guy who the Mariners gave $100 million guaranteed to.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here for Silver Reef Casino, man. If you have nothing to do this weekend, hop on I-5 North, get off on exit 260, and you will find Silver Reef Casino. They have great deluxe king rooms. I went there a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome. I got settled in, I unpacked, and went downstairs and visited some of their great restaurants. They got the steakhouse and the new cantina if you are looking for some Mexican food. And they also got a bunch of other restaurants down there. You got to check this thing out. And then when I was done there, I went to Porter's Bay Sports Bar. I sat down. There are TVs everywhere. I was watching baseball, basketball, even some soccer out there. They got something for you. And then the weather, it wasn't great, but I still went to Loomis Trails Golf Course and checked that out. I went to the range, and they have an historic clubhouse. And listen, if you're getting FOMO, don't you worry about it. I got you. I'm going to hook you up. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay today. They got something for everybody. That's silverreefcasino.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Shane Company engagement rings are expertly crafted to fit both your style and your lifestyle.
My wife's an artist and works with her hands. Shane Company helped me create a ring that's beautiful and sleek. She loves it.
Shane Company rings are crafted with care using high-quality materials, and we set each center stone by hand in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store. We also protect your ring, including the center stone, with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Let us help you find your perfect ring, in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Sparta's Pizza reminds parents to enroll your kids in a positive youth program. Sports, hobbies, and community activities improve overall health and performance in school. These programs decrease drug use and violence and develop self-discipline and leadership skills. Let's team together this year to help our kids reach their full potential. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Sparta's Pizza and Spaghetti House. Serving the best pizza in the universe. Come visit them in Linwood, Bothell, Mill Creek, or online at spartaspizza.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The dugout coming your way in 30 minutes. All Mariners from 1 to 2. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer is going to join us. We're going to hear some sound from Jeff Passan on Logan, Gilbert. Ryan Rowland-Smith and Alex Mayer also joining us. So again, all Mariners 1 to 2 as we get you ready for a series opener against the Angels. Before we do, we're going to take a look around the NFL. Then we're going to get to what I need to know. We're going to start with this story. Seahawks make a roster move. It's not a big, exciting one, but it does have to do with that quarterback room. They've waived quarterback Jaron Hall. Jaron was the 4th quarterback on the roster. He was not going to make this team, was kind of like a practice squad type guy. So now, Bump, it's a room of 3. Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, and then Jalen Milroe. Do you think the Seahawks carry 3?
Yeah, they're going to carry 3. Yeah, for sure. Because the 3rd quarterback is more than just a quarterback. He's an athlete, and we're talking about Milroe. So if there were like just 3 standard quarterbacks to where that's all they did was throw the football and didn't pose a run threat, then maybe you carry 2. But Milroe's just different. He's an athlete. He is a quarterback. I don't want to like pigeonhole the guy and say that he can't do that, but he just possesses some things that the other 2 don't. So you got to do it.
Does George Kittle's new deal, again, one with the San Francisco 49ers that keeps him with the 49ers through 2029, $40 million guaranteed, have an impact on when Brock Purdy's deal might get done? Here's what Adam Schefter thinks.
I don't think it has any significant effect on the Brock Purdy deal. I think that deal is kind of what it is, and I think the 2 sides have been working on it, and just because George Kittle gets a deal done doesn't mean that the 49ers are going to up their offer or offer less or have less cash to go around. Like, the Purdy deal is on its own, and the 2 sides have been working on it. I still think, my guess is it would be tracking to get done at some point this summer, but those things could heat up and change very quickly. And for all we know, we hear later next week or next month it's done. But my guess would be this summer at some point in time.
Did the 49ers get themselves in a weird spot in that they're going to be overpaying Brock Purdy after making a ton of, I should say, getting the most out of a very cheap deal? Or do you think that Brock Purdy's proven enough? He's a starter. He should get that contract.
He should get the contract. He's been to a conference championship. He's led them to the playoffs, won the division. I mean, he's done everything but win a Super Bowl. There are some guys who are getting paid who haven't even done that. So despite what you think about his actual talent, it's about the fit. And he's the right fit for them. And he's done enough that he should get his $50 million. I think there are a bunch of quarterbacks more talented than him, but there's something to be said about relationships and this understanding of an offense, and he has that. So, yeah, Purdy, he should get his money.
I think there's something to be said, too, about the market, right? Like, I had someone earlier texting in that they didn't particularly love that Sam Darnold was getting, $33-34 million per year, and I was like, I mean, that's not even a top 10 salary. Like, that's just kind of the market for a veteran who's solid. Certainly you can get a rookie for cheaper, but I mean, we're talking about Dak Prescott, who was, 60 per year? You've got Lawrence, who's up there, Burrow, obviously up there. I mean, that's just the market rate. What if Brock Purdy wants 60? What do you say if you're Jed York?
If he wants 60, then you got to go, man. We're not giving you 60. I get Dak Prescott is getting 60, and he's done more than Dak Prescott as far as advancing in the playoffs. But no, you're not worth 60. Dak wasn't worth 60.
Saints quarterback Derek Carr is pushing back on Diana Rossini, who may have suggested Carr could be faking a shoulder injury so he doesn't have to play in New Orleans in 2025.
Yes, I have to say this. I hate that I have to say this, but I have to say this. Yes, I have a shoulder injury, despite what ESPN says, and what some lady on a podcast might think. Okay, I have an MRI report to prove it. The team knows about it. We've been in constant communication. There's nothing wrong. We're figuring it out, and we're going to go forward with that.
Some lady on a podcast. Be nice. Diana Rossini's a great reporter.
Yeah, but this is kind of silly for her to suggest that, though.
Yeah, I want to know what she's hearing.
Yeah, it had to come from someone else. And Derek Carr is a high character type of person.
That's what I don't get either.
Right? You don't expect anything like that from Derek Carr. So yeah, this is signals being crossed. Maybe she's getting poor information. Because everything that we know and have heard and seen from Derek Carr is that he's there to play. And he's not going to let his team down, at least, I mean, performance-wise he might, but he's going to show up and do what he's supposed to do. No, I don't believe this one bit. So sometimes these reporters and stuff, they get it wrong.
Well, and I wonder if it makes me look at the Saints sideways a little bit, because I want to know who told. Like, I don't think reporters just make stuff up out of nowhere. Not reporters that are that established, because you can ruin your career. However, there are sources that will give you information that's intentionally setting a certain narrative, right? Think back to when Russell Wilson wanted out of Seattle, and you saw Adam Schefter with, he would play for these teams. Guess who that comes from? Mark Rodgers. That's exactly right. And Mark Rodgers is leaking that information to Aaron Rodgers because there's a separate report with information that's maybe from the Seahawks or maybe from another team. So I wonder if, are the Saints putting it out there that he doesn't have an injury? Is this from an agent? Is this from, where does this come from? Who benefits from thinking that Derek Carr is faking his injury?
And it has to be a reliable source to her, or else she wouldn't put herself out there like that.
The whole thing is weird. Next up, Jags GM James Gladstone, only 34 years old, says his team has an appreciation for draft prospects who compete in all-star games and combine events. Take a listen to James right here.
Getting to see him throughout the week of practices and then in the game setting. So many of the guys that, are willing to do more than what the norm might be, right? Many are tapping out before they ever get to the game. And to see somebody like Jack Kaiser, opt into playing a position like safety when he is in fact an inside linebacker, when that could make him look worse than he would like, but was productive in that setting. I think back to, Braden Fisk. One of the things that really resonated for us was when during the game, the Senior Bowl, he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play defense on both sides, right? I'm going to fill the gap because there have been too many opt-outs. These are guys that love the game of football, regardless of if it might put them in a compromising position in the eyes of evaluators and decision makers by playing too many snaps or playing out of position, etc. These guys love ball, and that's what we're hunting up.
Do you think it's a fair evaluation to read into guys who are participating in games or having snaps when they don't need to? And two, is it something you'd value as a GM?
You can look into that. But the real reason why they're not playing is they don't want to get hurt. Because if you get hurt, then you're not going to draft them. They lose millions of dollars potentially. So, yeah, it's a good look when a guy like Fisk plays both sides of defense and goes out there and another player plays a position that he normally doesn't play. Yeah. But what if that player gets hurt? You're not going to be sitting there, we really love his attitude, and he went out there and played both sides. He blew his ACL, but we're still going to draft him in the first round. No, you are not going to draft him.
Yeah.
You are going to let him fall in the draft and maybe hopefully pick him up later. So there are advantages to playing in these games, and I can appreciate that. But I am mad at a young man who was projected to be a first-round pick saying, I'll practice throughout the week, but game time, I'm good.
That's a very good point, because it's not like they go, yes, he did tear his ACL in this Senior Bowl game, but we appreciate that he really went after it.
Yeah, so we'll take him number 3 overall.
No,
get out of
absolutely not. No, you won't. Where will Kirk Cousins land? Here's Adam Schefter.
Who knows what happens during the offseason, whether somebody gets hurt, whether somebody has a contract issue, whether somebody, whatever it may be, that leads some team into some circumstance where all of a sudden they're looking for another quarterback. Right now, in my mind, there's only really one team that's looking to fill the quarterback position, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have their sights set on getting a deal done with Aaron Rodgers, and I think that they believe ultimately at some point, whenever it is, that'll get done. But unless that deal doesn't get done, then Kirk Cousins would have a lack of options right now and would be stuck in Atlanta for the time being. Now, again, we'll see if anything changes, but the draft didn't give him more options and more clarity. It gave him less.
Bump, what do you feel is like the most realistic 2025 season for Cousins?
Oh, man, that he is with the Atlanta Falcons, because who needs a quarterback? The Saints might need one. They drafted Shook over there, we don't know, and Derek Carr or whatnot. That situation is crazy. The Steelers, we feel like are going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's probably going to be back in Atlanta. He's going to be the most expensive backup in the game. And, just enjoy your position, cash a check, and help out Michael Penix.
Truly awful news to end NFL headlines. The Saints are releasing Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci.
Very sad.
This
Molto triste.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
This is awful news.
Bump has no comments. This is really a story
Yeah, I
for
know.
Curtis
The
and I.
silence is definitely.
The silence says more than words.
Oh, man. DiNucci.
Wow.
Get your questions. Yeah, noted.
You said it, Bump. That's right.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Call them butter because they're on a roll.
Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write.
Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series. They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, crown disappearing. Hair loss for me was like identity theft. The solution? The simple one-day treatment that worked for me from Advanced Hair. And I'm just one of tens of thousands. Advanced Hair was recently crowned the winner of the 425 Business of the Year again. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions, those monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but if you're like me, you want more. You wanted your own natural hair in specific areas permanently. From Advanced Hair's groundbreaking technology to world-class Dr. Perungo, it's not maybe your hair will grow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off, 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in Seattle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
What do you get when you assemble 400 new and used RVs with over 1,000 floor plan options, plus manufactured homes on 20 acres? You get the best chance to save all year. The Puyallup RV Show, May 1st through 4th. Free parking. Get tickets at PuyallupRVShow.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Hey friends, it's Stacy with a little bit of inside info. I know there are a lot of local business owners listening right now. This message is for you. Wayscar Ford is running great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles, trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunities. They're looking for mechanics if anyone listening has heavy truck experience. Join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. A great option for people, a great option for families, and now business owners. I'm a proud customer. I know you will be too. Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Okay.
You're so ready for this?
Yeah, I know. I got it. I had
so ready.
What I need to know. To what extent did Travis Hunter mask...
I saw this.
I'm going to throw it your way.
Sorry.
Okay. To what extent did Travis Hunter mask Shedur's shortcomings the way Mike Evans did with Johnny Manziel in college? I saw a lot of underthrown, off-target, and crazy traffic catches by that guy.
Yeah, that's what good receivers do. And the reason why he saw that is because I'm sure somewhere underthrown, like Shedeur ain't perfect, but he throws it to them when he's double covered because he knows he's going to catch the football. He's getting hit by a blitz in LB, and he throws it up because he knows Travis Hunter is going to catch the football. I wouldn't say he masked it up because most of his passes didn't go to Travis Hunter. They went to other people. But Travis Hunter definitely made some plays for him. Heck yeah.
Yeah. With this Sunday being Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you. What is your favorite Star Wars movie or TV show?
Matthew?
Your answer is Bump's answer.
Yeah.
So.
It's Andor. It's Andor by a mile.
It's totally
Brand new
Andor.
episodes dropping tonight.
We were gonna say Andor by 10 miles.
10 at that.
We love Andor.
And
Andor.
other things.
And other things.
Bix Colleen. Two big Bix Colleen lovers right here.
Yeah,
You know
Big
it.
Colleen, Smalls Colleen.
Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz Khalifa.
All that.
Yeah. Curtis?
What'd you guys make of Starfighter Galaxy?
Oh, Starfighter Galaxy.
Is that what BG went and saw? I saw BG posted something on Twitter. He went and saw something.
What a movie.
I think it was like a re-release of
they re-released
Revenge
episode
of-
3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, have you seen episode 12?
The Jedi.
Oh,
Sith.
so good. A classic.
Crazy.
It was the cinematography.
Can I say something controversial that's a real answer?
I wish you wouldn't.
What was the first of the, essentially it's like Star Wars 7, like the first where Daisy Ridley is the actress in it?
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. I actually liked it, and I had never seen Star Wars before seeing that movie. So I know that there are people that are like, they ruined Star Wars, but then there's another portion of fans that were like, oh, I randomly watched this and I'd never seen the other ones, and so it was good.
I like all
Bump
of them.
agrees.
Sure.
They're just
all of
all
my
fun.
opinions.
They're just really good.
No, they're so good, especially Andor.
And they're so long too. I feel like
Yeah.
the movies are like 2.5 hours.
What?
You watch a 3-hour baseball game every night.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours now, Matt. Look at the stats. Okay, look at the numbers.
Sorry, my bad.
What I need to know.
Yeah, what kind of on-base percentage does Luke Skywalker have?
100%, obviously.
100%.
That's false. What I need to know. Someone said, I'm in a weird place where I grew up watching Bump and I love football, but at my current age, I identify way more with Matt.
That's a good place, man. You've
great.
You've experienced things. You've changed.
Yeah,
This is good for you. I like that.
Okay, what I need to know. If you were to eat cereal for the first time ever, what are you picking?
Come on, man.
Frosted Mini Wheats is what this person
What?
said. Get out.
I think you got to just put yourself in the grocery aisle for the first time.
Something colorful.
Cereal has
Gonna
no
pop.
you don't know the concept of cereal, and so you're like, which one am I drawn to?
I would probably be drawn to something that looks like the most like candy.
Like Reese's Puffs?
Lucky
Yeah.
Charms. Lucky Charms is gonna grab
Lucky
your eye.
Charms has too much non-charms.
I would say
I think
You don't
they're-
know that? It's your first time eating cereal.
That's true. Okay, you're right, and I'd be disappointed. I'd be
Yeah.
like, what the heck? There should be twice as many charms in here.
the most colorful box is what, Fruit Loops though.
Mhm, that's what I was thinking.
That would be one where I'd be like, oh no, what's this?
Yeah, what's going on here? What I need to know. Someone said, how many items are on your key ring?
Oh, I got too many keys. Talking about these keys in general.
You're like a janitor, a high school
Pretty
janitor.
much, man. I got too many keys.
The problem with Rossini is that she spreads gossip and innuendo. She doesn't always report facts. I think that they all do.
They all do.
That's the thing. I think that Diana Rossini might be getting hate for that. And I wouldn't report that. Like, I'd need like a team front office executive telling me it, because it can be a really harmful thing to report. So I wouldn't, but like, she is not doing anything that other reporters don't do.
Yeah.
All those guys, it's not like they're like, oh, and then I fact checked to make sure it was okay with everyone. Like Adam Schefter gets stories from agents or from front offices, and there's always an intent when a story is released. So she's not doing anything different. 866.
Banged on him right now.
Yeah.
Can't do nothing different.
Huh?
You just banged on him.
Yeah, I did.
On the listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What I need to know.
Okay.
Who's gonna homer tonight?
Who's gonna homer?
Or you could go homer first.
Let's go with Julio Rodriguez. I would love that for
I
my
would
guy.
love that.
Come on.
Curtis, you want to guess one? Predict one, I should say. For who's gonna homer tonight?
Yeah, let's go with one. Boy, I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go Donovan Solano. That'd be too insane.
Well, I don't know. It'd be fun and risky, and
I'll say Randy. Randy Rosarena.
that's a good one too. Yeah, I'll go. Is Moore in the lineup? I'll go someone like Dylan Moore, man.
It's against a righty tonight.
Oh, then okay.
I don't know.
I'll go with. I'm boring if I go with.
Go
Cal
like
Raleigh.
Luke Raley.
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
do that. Okay.
There you go.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. If you have to cook dinner for a group, what are you making? Maybe they're asking for advice because they have to cook dinner for a group and they need to know what to make.
It's easy. Go with spaghetti, man. The spaghetti feeds the masses. Throw some vegetables on the side. Get you some garlic bread. Easy.
What I need to know, you have to live through any decade in history. Which 10 years are you choosing?
Oh, I'm limited as heck. I ain't trying to go back too far.
Yeah.
The 90s.
I'm going 90s all day.
Yeah.
90s all day.
I'm not going prior to 1990. I don't know that I have my job prior to 1990. I think, I'm going to go ahead and stay right here.
I could do maybe early 2000s, do middle school, high school.
If we're doing our job back in the 90s, we're getting paid. Very nice money.
Again, I'm not doing my job in the 90s. There is zero chance that I'm getting this job.
You seen Anchorman? You could be like the first anchor woman, you know?
Yeah, it can be just an icon. Real leading the way. But yeah, it'd be fun. I have wondered before, like, music that I grew up listening to. So, like, I'm thinking, like, 2005, 6, 7. Like, instead of being like a preteen, what if I was 25?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man, the clubs would have been popping.
Popping, no phones.
Yeah.
Just being silly.
Man, like, club culture was peak when I was just way too young to go to clubs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was
I'm a little
like.
older than you, so I can tell you it was popping in 06.
All right, all Mariners coming your way next, beginning with Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Don't go anywhere.
Brock and Salk.
Straight from Pierre, South Dakota, Brock. Gray, good morning. How are we feeling today?
Super excited to be a part of the Seahawks and the team that they do.
Are you still growing? Could we see a bigger Gray Zabel at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, big thing about gaining weight is just steaks and squats. That's all you got to do to put on some pounds.
Steaks and squats. Well, and you could go from Bush Light to Bud Heavy if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. A few extra carbs.
Brock and Salk. Morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports. The app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had zero investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Spring is here, and I know you want to look and feel your best as you head into this new season. Are you tired of the roller coaster of losing weight just to see it all come back again? Maybe you've heard about the new drugs but are concerned with the possible side effects, or you're taking weight loss drugs but also want to learn how to change your lifestyle for long-lasting results. We can help you. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here with Rowland-Smith.
Thanks, Mike. I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan, and you lost a ton of weight.
So I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Join the thousands of people who've lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. It doesn't matter where you live. You can do our program in person in Kirkland or all remotely. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Seahawks quarterback room changes once again. A few days after trading Sam Howell and drafting Jalen Milroe, Seattle's waived Jaren Hall. That leaves 3: Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, and of course Milroe. The Mariners are back in action today, taking on the Angels for the first of a 2-game series. First pitch at 6:40 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout. Every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy. Inside access to the clubhouse from Shannon Drayer on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. 6 series wins in a row, Shannon, for the Seattle Mariners. What are you seeing with this offense?
I think that's it. I'm seeing offense, which is a lot of fun.
Showing up. Balls are leaving the field.
It's like, why are they winning? Well, there's been some offense. You know what? It's pretty fun to watch what we're watching right now because you're seeing some special things. I mean, you're seeing that they're second in home runs in baseball right now. They have 42 home runs, and Cal Raleigh has almost a quarter of those. You're seeing Jorge Polanco, who, you know, you had just the highest hopes for when you saw him at the beginning of the season and what he was doing offensively. And now he's doing it offensively without an oblique. You see that, you know, the pitchers need the help right now. They haven't been able to give what they've given in the past, and it doesn't matter because they just continue to score runs. And the thing that has jumped out at me the most about all of this is it's a functioning lineup. And you've got guys that are out there who aren't trying to do too much. J.P. Crawford has been, you know, one of the best players in baseball the last 2 weeks, what he's been doing. And that makes a difference as well. So, you know, you look up and down the lineup, and I like what's at the top. I like their top 4. I think that, especially when Julio kicks in, is going to be a threat. The middle of the lineup can be good on any given day, and the bottom of the lineup has done exactly what you want a bottom of the lineup to do. So it's been a lot of fun just seeing guys do what you would hope that they would do at their very best, and then go ahead and throw in a bunch of stolen bases as well. And, you know, what's really cool about this is they've done this against good teams. You kind of were thinking at the beginning of the season, oh, they lost the series to the Tigers. Well, the Tigers are one of the best teams in baseball right now. And you look at just about everybody else that they have faced, and they have faced, about as tough a competition as they're going to face early on in the season. So just good things up and down with the entire offense.
Shannon, we're hoping the best for Logan Gilbert, right? And let's say worst case scenario, he's not able to come back anytime soon, or maybe even this year. Do you think this team has enough to stay competitive, or do you think that would just be a heavy blow and it would kind of derail what's going on here?
Well, I think as long as the offense is doing what the offense is doing, and you don't lose another pitcher, you cannot afford to do that. This is exactly what we talked about when we were adamant about not wanting them to trade Luis Castillo if you were in that camp in the offseason. It wasn't what they start with. It's what happens once the season gets going. You lose one starting pitcher, you might not be in good shape. You lose two at that point, you're in real trouble. And I think that, the key for them is going to be, does George Kirby come back, and is he healthy, and can he just, take the ball and go once he is ready to go? That's going to be a huge boost for this rotation. Is Bryce Miller truly okay? If he is, he's going to turn back into Bryce Miller at some point in these next couple of months. There's no question about it. He's kind of doing exactly what he did last year. So as long as they are healthy, I think they will be okay. I think if Gilbert is out for the year, and I'm not ready to go there yet, but if he is, then I think you're probably going to be looking at holding on until the trade deadline and probably making a move then. I don't think it has to be a number one type starter, especially if the offense is doing what it's doing, but you're going to want another, seasoned, experienced arm, somebody that can give you the innings that you need to get to the end, and also somebody who is going to be able to, perhaps if you need them in a huge situation, not be kind of bowled over by that. Now, the flip side of it is, if it all goes well, you're going to have a Logan Gilbert who doesn't have many pitches on him this year in the second half. Same with George Kirby as well. And they're going to be at their absolute best as compared to their peers probably at the end of the year when you need it most. So I think there are two sides of the coin there, and you hope for the best.
What's keeping you optimistic that Logan Gilbert will not be done for the season?
Because I know that, and there's no right or wrong. We'll know when we know, I think people jump to the worst case scenario as quickly as possible. And, every player that's ever had a flexor strain has, a Tommy John surgery. Well, most players in this day and age do have it at some point. Statistically, it's not in the first year after. So as gloom and doom as it is, if it is a mild strain, if it is truly a mild strain, it depends, what kind of involvement is in it, how mild it is. If it is truly a mild strain, and they are going to bring him along slowly and carefully, I think he's got a good shot at being back this year and hopefully continuing to be healthy for a long time. But I don't think it's an automatic just because he has that injury that Tommy John is right around the corner.
Shannon, where would you rank that JP to Mastroboni play in your Mariners career?
I'd call it a touchdown. It's a flea flicker, isn't it, kind of?
Yeah, it is, actually. It is.
I think it was brilliant to think that and give Miles credit for thinking that it possibly could come to him as well. That's a play that they have made as a double play. When you're diving and you're flipping the ball to second base, this time it wasn't a double play, and he needed the assist. And it was absolutely beautiful and heads up and, a lot of court awareness on both of the players' parts to execute that play. But I love seeing what we're seeing JP do both with the bat and in the field right now. He has been so clutch late in the field. He's been good regularly, but we're seeing kind of those spectacular plays for him quite often in the ninth inning. And just seeing that he's feeling good, that he can make those plays, and that he's hitting as well. That's a huge part that this team was missing last year, and you can see that. And usually the first answer he has is, I'm healthy, whenever you ask what the difference is with him right now. So let's keep him there. Let's keep him feeling good, and he'll reward everybody with plays like that.
Shannon, I'm stuck in between knowing that the Mariners offense, or that at least some slash lines for these guys, will regress to the mean. Like, I don't think Polanco's going to finish the season hitting 377, and I don't think Cal's going to get 60 home runs. It would be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen. However, even though I know those stats will regress, I also feel like there might be some genuine improvement when it comes to this offense, but I can't figure out a reason why I feel that way, other than it's been a nice April. When you're looking at this team, does it feel to you, someone who knows much more about baseball, like that it's fair to expect more from the offense this year?
Well, I do think you have some guys that are kind of playing out of their minds right now, but they're capable of it. I mean, we haven't seen Cal Raleigh put up a 10-home run month before, but you sure thought he could do it. So I don't think that's, to be too surprising. Should he do it every month? No, that's not going to happen. So, so you are going to see a regression in home runs. Maybe you see him get on base a little bit more. Maybe you see some more doubles from him. Everybody is going to have their ups and downs. JP, we're seeing the best of JP the last 2 weeks. Yeah, there will be some ups and downs, but he's always going to have, that eye at the plate. He's always going to give you that good at bat. He's always going to give you, perhaps take a walk and then be able to help out in that regard. I'm very interested to see what happens with Ben Williamson. That's something that they haven't, the really good teams, sometimes you see they have a player come out of nowhere, come up from the minor leagues. And it's hard to think of when a Mariner had done that. And, he might be doing that right now. That's something that I'm keeping an eye on right now, which I think is fantastic. So, as far as the ups and downs go, one of the encouraging things that we're seeing right now is the strikeout rate is down a little bit for them. They're more in the 23 rather than the 27 range. Can they get that a little bit lower? I think they probably can. I think that the first couple of weeks of the season hurt them, so I do think that's going to come down. And I also think there's a buy-in and a belief into what they're doing because they're seeing that success. And the last thing I would say, as much as Polanco falls, I think you're going to see Julio rise. So, I think that it all could balance itself out a bit in the long term. Do they get Victor Robles back after the All-Star break? What impact does that have? So, I don't think that this is just going to be, you're going to see it all at the beginning and not at the end. I do think that they have a chance to do some things. And I also think that we will see, a big move at the deadline. They've got the pieces to do it. They'll know exactly what their needs are. And I think that will provide some sort of a boost too, if they're in position to make a run in the second half.
With guys being banged up, we saw a young man named Logan Evans. He went 5 innings, gave up 2, set down 3. What did you like out of him, and what should our expectations be?
I liked his poise, first and foremost. That's huge, not just to get the call, but to get the call in a situation where, they're looking to keep a streak alive with the series win against a, tough competitor on the other side. And a team that's going good right now, and you don't want to be the one to come up and screw it up. So, you saw him use his weapons. He's got a ton of different pitches, and he can keep hitters off balance. But I think that was huge, and I think that he worked well, with Cal in that game. I think that's important, and I think he's now got that first outing under his belt. So, I don't think you could ask for much more. If he could give you something similar, each start he makes, every 5th day he's out there, that's going to be huge for this team, and that, is all you can ask in that situation. I think it's going to be a big learning for him, obviously, but they've done pretty well with pitchers that they've brought up from the minor leagues, and this will be a little bit different because he doesn't come, with the stuff so much that your Logan Gilbert, your Bryce Miller, your Brian Wu, and, of course, George Kirby came with, but smart pitcher with a lot of different weapons, and if he uses them correctly, he's got a chance to do some good things there.
She is Mariners insider Shannon Drayer, kind enough to join us on the dugout. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
You can find the latest from Shannon at Shannon Drayer on X.com or her articles on SeattleSports.com. What do we need to know about Logan Gilbert's injury? The latest from Jeff Passan next on the dugout.
Call them butter because they're on a roll. Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write. Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series. They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The Oki Golf Platinum Players Card is the perfect gift for your favorite golfer to welcome back spring. With 7 prepaid rounds at any public Oki golf course location, including the Golf Club at Newcastle and Washington National Golf Club, along with 7 50% off guest passes and unlimited discount fees, the Players Card is the best value in golf. And now through April 30th, Oki Golf is offering 1 free bonus round with purchase of the Platinum Players Card. Visit okigolf.com today to secure one for you and your golfing loved one this April.
Windows are a home's top target for break-ins. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer added security with our exclusive 3-layer security glass protection. Combined with our lifetime warranty, you'll have lifetime peace of mind. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Lens Enterprises reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Lens Enterprises, providing sustainable solutions for landscapes, farms, and gardens since 1976. Online at lens-enterprises.com.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us in about 15 minutes. Before we get to that, though, the latest from Jeff Passan on Logan Gilbert. Here he is explaining why a flexor mass injury is problematic.
Grade 1 is the lowest of the 3. Grade 2 is a partial tear. Grade 3 is a full tear. So grade 1 is a good thing. But because the flexor mass is attached to the elbow and is related to the ulnar collateral ligament, which is what tears during Tommy John surgery, quite often what ends up happening is guys who get Tommy John also have flexor damage, so it will sometimes be a 2-for-1 surgery. And you have in the flexor mass these muscles that if they're not working optimally, they're not going to take on that energy anymore, and it's going to remain in the elbow ligament and put the stress and the strain there. So that's why a flexor mass injury is problematic.
You're not making me feel better, Jeff.
Flexor mass injury.
I don't feel more optimistic about this in any way. What did you make of Shannon saying, look, in general, we always rush to the worst case scenario, but there's a world where Logan comes back this year?
Yeah, there's a world. I mean, that's how you have to look at it. You keep it in perspective. You got to be real with it, right? There's a chance that we don't see him all year or we don't see him for extended amount of time, but it gives other guys opportunity. That's the only way you can look at it when you are in the organization. As a fan, you can start looking at numbers and the starts and who's playing, who's not, and the schedule and get caught up in all of that. But if you're in the mix, you're part of the organization. It's like, all right, well, can we weather the storm? And Shannon made a great point. If this offense is doing exactly what it's been doing, you could be okay in a nice little stretch.
When will we know? Here's Jeff.
Can Logan Gilbert? No. Until he throws a baseball at full speed, no, he cannot. But if there's soreness that was there that is not there anymore, that's a good sign. It's just, as we know, with the arm, it doesn't really matter what happens until you actually try to throw a baseball at game speed, because that's the ultimate litmus test to see if you're actually going to feel okay trying to do your job.
So again, there's a world where it ends up being fine. He's able to pitch again this year. He's not going to know anytime soon, though. Not only do you have to wait for that soreness and swelling to go down, but then you got to test it out and ramp out very carefully. However, Jeff Passan already looking at the guys they have ready to play in relief of Logan.
It's nice if you're the Mariners that you have, and I know Emerson Hancock hasn't been great, but where you have Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans, guys who can come and capably fill in, and you look at the rotation, and you're like, that's still pretty darn good. But at the same time, it's scary every time I hear forearm anything. It just feels like elbow, maybe not now, but eventually is an inevitability.
We have not been told Logan's season's done. Again, I keep saying it, but there's a world where he pitches again this year. However, Bump, if I were to tell you right now, it's April 29th, Michael Bumpus, guess what? Logan Gilbert, I can read the future. He's actually going to need surgery. He's not coming back this year. Where does your mind automatically go?
It goes to Logan. Evans. It goes to Emerson. And that becomes my focal point. It's like, okay, how quickly can these two young pitchers develop and just handle all of these innings? Because you went into the season not expecting to rely on these guys. And if it is an extended period of time, look, you got the Angels coming up. You got the Texans who are up and down. The A's who are just all sneaky A's for some reason in Toronto. And then you get to the beefy part of the schedule. So it's about watching their progression and seeing how their command is, where their velo is, all that good stuff, man. I just start focusing on it. It's like when, I got 3 kids, and my oldest one, Michael, I don't have to pay attention to him as much as the little two, right? He's about to be 15. I can send him to go get something. I can talk to him differently. More responsibility on him, but I don't have to check in on him. But the younger two, I'm like, okay, here's how you get to step 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think that's how the Mariners have to handle this thing.
The Mariners with Logan.
I'm like, all right, guys.
And Emerson.
Logan, Emerson. Let's talk about this. But it's all about how the team can pick them up, though.
Yeah.
Because, you got a good reputation of developing these pitchers and having them come out and do great things. But you need that offense to support them so they don't feel that pressure.
See, that's an athlete, that's a coach going to, okay, well, what now? My answer is more of like what you didn't do and what you can do. So more of like that in the past and then way too in the future take. And what I think is, this is the gamble you made. You made a gamble that we're not going to spend as much as, our fans would like us to, because A, we don't know that we see anyone worth throwing the bag at, and B, we really like our pitching and we think we have enough on offense. Well, what happens when you don't have enough on pitching, right? Now you have to hope that your gamble, that Jorge Polanco is going to have a bounce back year. So far it's looking good. That Cal and Julio and JP can be central to this team's success. The gamble you made needs to pay off. Then I look ahead to the trade deadline. Man, last year we were talking about, can they move prospects and get a bat? Who figured that a year later we might be talking about, can they move prospects and get a starter?
See, you thinking way down the road.
Oh, I'm thinking to July, man.
Yeah, you are. See, and that's good. I'm sure there's someone in the organization that thinks like that too.
Yeah.
And then there's that person. I'm that person.
It's the person they tell to calm down.
Yeah. No, calm down. But we see what you're doing though. Like, we have to think like that. But let's focus on this next series and the following one.
Exactly.
I think both trains of thoughts are important, because you want to prepare for the worst, but you also want to be optimistic for the short term and see this how well these guys are progressing. Because you can get to that point and you feel really good about the arms. You're saying, all right, maybe we just need a bat at this point. But yeah, I think there should be different personalities in that room to where you do get the angle that you went and the angle that I went to, and then somewhere in between.
Is there more pressure on the offense?
Yeah, heck yeah. What? Especially when you start performing like this too. Especially when you drop 14 of them things. Especially when Polanco is looking good. Especially when JP is healthy and looking like he's turning the corner.
Yeah,
there is pressure, because once you do something a few times, you start to have expectations. And that's the scary part about this, is when do we start to really expect this team to win ball games at the rate that they're winning? Right now, we're accepting it. Like, okay, 6 series win streak for sure. We'll take that. at what point do we get to May 12th when the New York Yankees roll through? And do we expect them? Are we expecting them to compete for real during that series? Or the Padres, who've been a hot team this year? That's the weird part is when do acceptance turns into expectations?
Yeah, for me, it's my discomfort with counting on the offense and with not being able to count on pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where I am this year, is going, all right, well, Luis Castillo hasn't been the best. Miller hasn't been the best.
Still might get Kirby back. When's Kirby coming back?
When is Curtis? When's Kirby coming back, or when might he come back? He just worked out.
I mean, he just started throwing live BP.
Maybe another month and a half.
I think May is probably generous. I think late May, probably early June.
Okay. July?
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
But
maybe so June.
They're going to give him enough ramp up here to have him basically throw a spring training, which he didn't really get.
Another thing that I'm finding myself thinking about a ton, one of your pitchers that was the best at going deep into games, Logan Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm looking at that bullpen. It's been solid, but I'm going, oh, my God. Like, if you don't have Logan, you have no choice but to add an arm.
Yeah.
You cannot enter. Again, I'm looking at the deadline, and I don't mean to, but I'm doing it because this has been a fun April. It's been fun. This team is in first place in the AL West.
I hate to bring the mood down, but
Curtis.
There's another guy going on the injured list. Dylan Moore placed on the 10-day injured list. This was literally a minute ago. Right hip inflammation, which is retroactive to April 26th. Samad Taylor selected from AAA Tacoma, so he'll be probably playing the role of Dylan Moore. Gregory Santos transferred to the 60-day IL. I'm sorry. I had to relay that news.
You're just doing your job.
I'm just doing my job, Stacy.
I just feel like this is what we had to pay for 14 runs. Like, there's something about, like, a baseball gods where, like, we are their most and least favorite team. You know what I mean? They're like, we're going to give you really fun Hall of Famers, all-timers. We're going to give you some of the most memorable games that you can think of, but we're not going to give you.
You know what? I have to change the way I think about some stuff because I hear hip inflammation and I'm thinking everyone in the NFL plays with hip inflammation, but we also get 6 or 7 days off, right? And with baseball, it's every single day dang near. So I was about to get hot, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? Demo's been good to us this year. This is baseball. You got games almost every day. Just get him right for 10 days. If he is good for 10 days, what's today? The 29th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, he'll be ready
about
for
a week
New York.
left. Yeah.
Ready for New York.
It's retroactive to the 26th, so those days count.
I will say this, and I don't mean to do a cheap silver lining, but I will say this, that losing Dylan Moore is like, man, what a bummer. Says a lot about Dylan Moore's season so far, so credit him for that, because I had lower expectations for this offense, and they've been making me look like a fool. So I will say that. Well, let's ask Ryan Rowland-Smith about the possibility of playing, obviously not just without Gilbert, but right now without Dylan Moore, and figure out his outlook on this team. That's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Looking at Cal Raleigh, man, could he be in that conversation for MVP? He deserves a praise. He's been phenomenal. The question, can Cal keep this up? I mean, probably not. I'd feel so much better about this team if Julio went on not some kind of a tear like Cal, but just get back in there.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
It's time for a girls' night out back. Australia's Thunder from Down Under Temptation Tour is hitting Galaxy at Muckleshoot, June 5th through 7th. Tight abs, ripped bodies, and moves so hot you'll need a cold shower after. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com and feel the thunder. June 5th through 7th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline. And Ryan, I'm going to start with Logan's injury, but as you know, we also got news of Dylan Moore, so we'll get to that in a second. First, with Logan, there's no word on whether or not he'll need surgery, but what should we be anticipating with this kind of injury, and what might this club have to do or look to without him?
Yeah, it's that was a tough one, and it was weird because that was Friday night, and I remember when he came out, it was just this like black cloud of no energy at all around that team, because you could just tell that's your guy, man. That's your guy who like goes 200 plus innings. That's your guy who makes 32 starts, who goes deep into games. All those things that beyond the stuff wise really matter and make a difference on the team. So you lose that, and I know the offense has been carrying this team recently. And then all of a sudden, you come out Saturday night, you just put up 14 runs, whatever it was, and you tend to forget about it. Then you have an off day like yesterday, and you're like, hold on a minute. Yeah, that's right. Logan Gilbert, you have a situation with him dealing with this injury. But the thing that really concerned me with Logan was when he said, I believe this, I'm 95% sure. I still haven't got clarity on this because I don't want to bug him about it. But when he said that he was warming up, and he said this in the postgame. He said, I just put the split in the back pocket. And that's not because he's facing the Marlins and he thinks he can just dominate them. No, that's because it hurts every time he tries to throw a split. So that was concerning. That's his best pitch. He throws at max effort, and that's a pitch that can really mess with that elbow. So that was a little concerning. Injuries, regardless of if someone says 2 weeks or a year, you always add on. You have to. It's always the case. So that's a real letdown with Logan, because he's, like I said, for all those reasons, he's your guy. And again, look, anytime someone gets injured, it's a situation you can get some opportunity for someone like a Logan Evans. But now that we've had an off day and a few days to think about it, man, it is a tough one.
Yeah.
So this rotation goes from what with Logan Gilbert to what without Logan Gilbert?
Yeah, it's you're kind of coming off last couple of weeks or a pattern, actually, as we get to the end of April, of good, talented starting pitching, but without the same profile identity as what we saw last year. And I'm talking about, strikeout numbers. Yeah, good. Walk rate numbers are still, they're not terrible, but they're not the exact same. But it's a situation where it's taking you a lot longer, kind of collectively, to get guys out. And I'm talking about whether it be, obviously, Logan, he's sitting on the IL, to Bryce Miller especially, Castillo, there's three guys. Emerson Hancock had a great outing against the Red Sox, but you kind of have to figure out in a couple outings where what he looks like in 2025 for real as opposed to 2024. So the identity of the rotation looks completely different because they're taking a lot of pitches in at bats to get outs. So that's a little concerning. And then of course with Logan Evans, look. Nothing against the Miami Marlins. They beat us on Friday. But the Miami Marlins are a team that they fit the profile of a young team, that guys who could be in AAA or AA on other teams, and no discredit, they're all super, super talented. But there's not I'm 3 years in, now I'm going to have that plate discipline attribute because you've sort of worked me 2 or 3 times and figured out how to get me out. Now I've got to be way more patient. No. They're in that infancy stage of, I can just come out. You're going to throw me fastballs because you haven't got a book against me just yet. And so that's kind of the lineup we saw. So the Angels are very similar. They only got 2 games, but it's going to get to a place where you got the Rangers coming up. You have some of these other teams you're going to run into that plate discipline is going to be more of a factor. So it's going to take you it's going to be tougher, just like we saw the Red Sox to get out. So it is concerning how the rotation looks right now, because it's not, we lost one guy, but everyone else is kind of fitting that mold of having efficient innings and getting deep. It's kind of this profile right now where it's taken a lot to get through 4 or 5 innings.
Dylan Moore placed on the 10-day IL with right hip inflammation that's retroactive to April 26. Obviously not the long-term injury we're talking about with Logan, but in the meantime, Ryan, in what ways does this kind of impact the lineup? And also what Dan Wilson is going to be looking at in terms of what he's doing defensively, because Dylan's so flexible.
Yeah. The first of all, the defense side of things, you have a situation where you lose. Well, you take Plunk out of playing third base, whether knee issues and everything else. He's got to be in the lineup, and I'm hoping he's going to be swinging right-handed very soon. He's got to be in the lineup because he's not the hottest hitter with the Mariners. He's like the hottest hitter in baseball right now. But it does really sort of handcuff you in regards to defense. So I think with Dylan, I know it's not the same production, but it's pretty good, and it's way bigger upgrade than Dylan Moore last year against righties. But the thing that's going to be the impact is going to be the defense. It really is, because you don't want a situation where, all right, we want to push towards a little bit more defense. Guess what? Your lineup gets a little easier to get through down the bottom, and guys are really stepping up. But that's just kind of natural the way that works. But I think on the plus side, though, if you're looking at, impact wise, the fact you got Leo Rivas, who's just an on-base machine right now. Miles Mastroboni is, every at-bat, he looks like he's adding another layer in regards to, got his first extra base hit the other night, hitting the ball to left field a little bit more. Then you got J.P. Crawford, who, if you had a Dylan Moore injury, pre-Leo Rivas having his on-base profile right now, which he does, it's insane, it's like 500, and around the time when JP was struggling, it would be a bigger factor. But I think right now, as it stands, I think there's enough pieces to work around it.
Yeah, JP, I mean, His glove is looking good. The bat is looking good. Are there any? Did you see this coming? Like, could you see like an indicator? Like, all right, well, he's moving here. He's doing that. I kind of foresee this thing happening this way.
I was thinking about this. Great question, because I was thinking about this. I was doing a little Polanco breakdown with Polanco went from. I'm getting to JP, I promise. But you hear this. Oh, hey, he's healthy now. Well, it's a little bit more than that. I think with JP, I kind of put him in the same, in the same bucket there as Polanco. Now I know Polanco's mashing the ball, right? But JP's doing some crazy stuff the last 7 days or so, especially that road trip. And he made a comment I remember in spring training saying, "I felt like I got my lower body underneath me." Right? And when you hear that, you're like, okay, you went from a place where every time you swung, talking about JP, last year there was a little bit of either just a niggling pain or a lot of pain. And the brain knows that, you know what, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I don't want to deal with this every 20, 30 minutes, every time you get up to hit when you're trying to go max effort. And so it just subconsciously shuts you down. And so that's what I saw from JP in 2024. So in regards to, could you predict this? I think if you asked him, he was honest with you in spring training and said, hey, are you a way bigger upgrade in regards to health this year? And he said, yes. You're like, all right, cool. We may see a mixture of when you had the breakout year when he was hitting the ball harder a couple of years ago, and the year prior to that. I think there's a combination of that. He's hitting the ball to left field a ton. He's on base. His plate discipline's the best in baseball, literally is. And then we're seeing it. We're seeing where he's picking his spots, man, where it's like a 1-1 count, 0-1. He just guesses right, and he just sells out. We've seen that to right center field where he's getting that power swing. He didn't have that last year because it hurt to swing a bat. So I think, look, he's more than capable of this. He's super, super talented. He has a different mindset the last couple of years, especially since Perry Hill came over and when he joined the Mariners. And I think he's more than capable of it, and he's obviously healthy.
Hey, Ryan, I think that Logan's injury and George not being here was also making me think of the bullpen, right? Because you just naturally assume that a younger, less experienced starter, maybe he has a few more rough outings than Logan would. You go to the bullpen earlier. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to, I guess, take a temperature check and kind of see what you like about this group so far, where you're seeing okay, they're checking boxes and what you're still waiting to see or what might concern you.
Yeah, it's you're talking about the bullpen.
Bullpen
right?
as a whole, yeah.
Yeah, man. First of all, Matt Brash is coming back soon, but I think a couple things on this, and I'll throw in just the starting side of this as well. When they're in a situation where they get pushed a little bit depth-wise, and they've done a great job. Look, Dan Wilson, I've said this to you guys actually a couple times. You don't know what you have until you're a good 4 to 6 weeks. And what I mean by that is this. Colin Snyder was here last year, right? So was, Gabe Spire was up and down. Obviously, Saucedo, Trent Thornton, all those. They're all here last year. So you know what they're made of. But what are they made of at the moment, right? Colin Snyder was a little bit flat in spring training, comes out of the gates, and he was struggling. Now, all of a sudden, he's kind of picked it up. Trent Thornton's going through a rough patch right now in regards to the results on the field. Taylor Saucedo looked way better. That changeup looked really, really good the other night. So I think that when you push him a little bit on the depth side of things, that's where when you're talking about going less outings, that's where they get a little bit more exposed until you get a Matt Brash and until you get a Troy Taylor who's really got his feet underneath him. Because let's not forget, too, you look at this and say, all right, we've got Troy Taylor coming back. Yeah, well, you still don't know, and I've said this already right now. Troy Taylor last year is different to Troy Taylor this year simply because he's just in the experience factor. So I think there's a few holes there. I feel like once you get a Matt Brash back and once you get to a place, I know these starting pitchers are going to go a little deep. Bryce Miller, Emerson and Castillo, for example, and Brian Wu, of course. I mean, he's just dealing anyway. When they can get just that extra inning per start, it's going to make take the pressure off the bullpen for sure.
Report card. Where are we at with this ball club? Management, let's say, in the batter's box, pitching, fielding.
I'm going to say management. I'm going to give it an A+, because a couple reasons why. Here's why, right? First of all, Dan Wilson. We all love him, right? So I'm not going to give him a D or an F, obviously, just because he's the dude. And because they're management-wise, in regards to having a relationship with what's that?
It's on a curve. It's like, well, he's a first-time manager. So.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
But look, you've had a situation where your starters have not gotten deep in the game. The bullpen pitchers have had the most innings of bullpen in baseball. By the way, they're like top 10 in ERA. So, like, that's amazing, right? So you've managed that well. Offensively, you've got this big, weight on your shoulders from 2024. How are you going to change things? Oh, you've got Edgar as a hitting coach. Kevin Seitz has come in. The pressure's on for you to turn it around. You also have Julio Rodriguez, who's playing way below his A, expectations, and B, his potential, right? He'll figure it out at some point, and you're picking it up with these other factors. And by the way, you're doing it a little bit differently. You're stealing a bunch of bases after you lost Victor Robles and Ryan Bliss. You're up there in stolen bases. You're hitting a ton of home runs. You're one of the toughest at bats, leading all of baseball in 3-ball counts. So when you talk about that management, I'm sliding into offensively what they're doing. I'll give it an A plus. I'll give the offense. I'll give it an A minus.
These are good grades.
Yeah, these are good.
This is a good quarter for this team. I'm feeling happy with it.
Hey, listen, and I'm sure you guys have spoken about this. If this team fell flat on its face at this point, fans would be like, "Yep, told you."
Yeah.
But you're still not going to get that credit just yet. They're doing really, really good things. Offense is carrying this team. The starting pitching is going to figure this out, how to get a little bit more efficient once they get in the groove, and everything else. So. What was the other one? You asked me management, hitting. What was the other one?
Fielding, pitching.
I'm gonna cut him off because I gotta hit break. But we're gonna start here next time we have you on, right? In fact, we're having you on later this week. We'll continue
Thursday.
this one here, and we'll see what those grades look like because it's gonna see 2 important games here. He is Ryan Rowland-Smith. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. You're welcome, guys.
All right, we got Alex Mayer coming our way next.
Call them Butter because they're on a roll.
Don't make that face at me, man. I only read what they write.
Baseball's hottest team does it again.
Win their 6th consecutive series. They are rolling.
Tonight, Mariners, Angels. First pitch at 6:40 with Wyman and Bob taking you up to pregame at 5:30. Don't miss a pitch on Seattle Sports on 710 or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith, and we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball, but today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Our
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Alex Mayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. You are listening to The Dugout. Alex, how's it going?
It's going super well, Stacy. How are you guys?
Good. In fact, I don't want to break my arm patting both of us on the back here, but Bump, so that you know,
what happened?
I just want to say, I think we have the magic touch when it comes to prospects that join our show. Alex, what have you found?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are literally 2 for 2 and getting players called up to the show. It's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ben Williamson went on the show like 3 weeks ago. He gets called up from Tacoma. He's been raking, playing amazing third base. And then Logan Evans goes on the show last week, and what does he do? He makes his major league debut, goes out, gets a win. You guys are literally batting 1,000.
I like that. I like those numbers.
Those are all-star numbers.
So,
yeah, all-star
you just tell us what you need, and we'll hook you up, man.
I was gonna say, who's next? I mean, who's going on the show next? I got to figure that out.
Well, we know who's hot right now, man. It's JP. I mean, he looks good. He says he's healthy, looks good in the batter's box defensively. I have this saying, Alex said, I'm like, man, there's not too many plays in baseball that I haven't seen, right? I feel like it's repetitive, but that play with Masterbone, I've seen it before, but not in a long time. That was fun.
Oh, that was crazy, Bump. Yeah, the old 6-4-3 one out play. You know, a lot of times 6-4-3 gets 2 guys out, but for him to have the wherewithal to make that amazing diving stop, go to the ground, flip it to his teammate for Mastro to throw the runner out, it was amazing, dude. So cool.
How's he? How do you think he's been able to kind of turn it around at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing 2023 J.P. Crawford the last 3 weeks or so. I mean, really, you can say he got off to a slow start, but I don't even know if I agree with that. A baseball season, it's so long. I think we deem a slow start as being, one homestand or one road trip. But over the last 3 weeks, he's getting on base at a 450 clip, which is crazy. And overall this season, his OPS plus is 140, meaning he is 40% better than league average, which is tied for second best among big league shortstops with Francisco Lindor and trailing only Bobby Witt Jr.
Jorge Polanco won AL Player of the Week 1 week after Dylan Moore did, and it was the first time in a while we saw Mariners win back-to-back. Alex,
Crazy.
tell me not just about that, but also Jorge's really hot April.
Yeah, Jorge's been awesome this month. I mean, his slugging percentage is second best in Major League Baseball, the only Aaron Judge. Same with the OPS if you knock it down to 75 plate appearances, because obviously he's missed a game here and there. But no, Polo has been awesome. I was so happy to see him get the AL Player of the Week right after Demo. And like you alluded to, Stace, I couldn't believe that it had been 27 years since Mariners went back-to-back Player of the Weeks. Yeah, A-Rod and Ken Griffey Jr., if you've ever heard of those guys, did it in the summer of '98, and Demo and Polo were the first to go back-to-back since those guys.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Demo or Jorge Polanco, but I would not have guessed it would have been those two. If you were to show me, like every roster for this team between 98
you're
and this
probably
year.
going Cal and Julio or something like that. Hey.
Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz when they were on the stage. Like, you're going somewhere else, so props to them.
Sure. No, I don't think that's disrespectful at all, but those guys have had amazing seasons so far, and I'm excited to keep watching them play.
That's crazy about the summer '98. That's legit when I started watching baseball for real. Summer.
There we go.
Hey, there's my Alex Mayer connection right there. I did my best with them right there. Hey, how impressive was that 14-0 win, man? I mean, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, that was awesome. 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Most runs we had scored in this building in a couple years. You saw it from everybody. I want to say like 7 guys. Yeah, 7 guys notched an RBI. We had 7 walks. Polo with the 2 bombs. I mean, it's just everything you like to see. We were firing on all cylinders. And then obviously pitching staff didn't give up a single run. It tied for our biggest shutout win in franchise history, 14-0.
We were just talking with Rowland-Smith, who had some really cool stats about the bullpen. Alex, we wanted to talk about Andres Munoz in particular, but if you've got more stuff about any of these guys you want to share, feel free, because it feels like, when you talk about Logan being gone for a while, Kirby already being gone, not only do you look to the offense and go, all right, you guys got to do what you can, but you look to the bullpen, right?
Totally. Yeah, I think I came on here a couple weeks ago and talked about how good Gabe Spire's been. He finally gave up a run, but his ERA this year is still 0.77. And like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Gabe, could be better. But no, Gabe has been so good during the opening month of the season throughout his whole career. And then you touched on Mooney. I mean, I really think Mooney's the best closer in Major League Baseball. He's tied for the most saves in baseball with 10. He's 10 for 10 in saves. As I knock wood right now, he is not allowed to run. He's just been terrific. And then on top of all that, he's just an A-plus human being. On his the best closer in baseball on his off day yesterday, instead of just relaxing on his couch with his feet up, went to the Seattle area feline rescue with his wife, Wendy. Mooney's super passionate about little kitty cats. He adopted one himself out of Mexico a couple years ago named Matilda. And he's super passionate, and he is auctioning off a bunch of stuff that's available online, and the proceeds are going to that Seattle area feline rescue. And major shout out to my guy, Freddie Llanos, who's not only a translator and comms pro around here, but he set that whole thing up with Mooney. Awesome stuff.
Nice job, Freddie.
Why doesn't it surprise me that Munoz is a cat guy? It gives me.
He's got quick reflexes.
But he also has like this calmness about him.
Good.
Because cats don't need humans for real. They kind of just do their own thing. And Mooney seems like a cat guy. Do you know anyone else on the roster who's a cat guy?
Oh gosh, I mean, we've got a guy in our director of advanced scouting, Sam Reinertson, one of my good friends. He does an amazing job downstairs in the clubhouse, scouting our next opponents, like taking a look at all the pitches guys throw, what hitters' tendencies are on other teams. It's my long-winded way of saying huge cat guy, Sam Reinertson.
All right. Last one for me here. Looking ahead to the Angels, sometimes there are stats I don't love about this series, like Mike Trout's success in Seattle. However, I'm sure there are some that we like for the Mariners. Alex, tell us what we should know heading into what's going to be a quick one here, just back-to-back games.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said quick one because it's our only 2-game series of the season. So I find that interesting because that used to be a more regular part of the regular season schedule, but only 2-game series. And then I was randomly looking for something fun for today. It's our 29th game of the season, so I was trying to connect our 29th game to number 29, Cal Raleigh. Came up empty there, but I found so randomly each of our last 3 seasons in our 29th game, we won by a 2-1 score exactly. So you know what the score is tonight, guys?
It's going to be 2-1.
2-1.
It's going to be 2-1.
Alex, if you're right about this,
wow,
I think you're just straight up like it's witchcraft. Like at this point, it's witchcraft, and it's not just having a great baseball brain. There's some magic happening. He is Alex Mayer, kind enough to join us for the dugout. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you guys heard the score prediction from tonight for Alex with the numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 2-1 Mariners win over the Angels. It just feels right.
And Julio's hitting the bomb.
That's exactly right. Wyman and Bob coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Looking at Cal Raleigh, man, could he be in that conversation for MVP? He deserves the praise. He's been phenomenal.
The question, can Cal keep this up? I mean, probably not. I'd feel so much better about this team if Julio went on not some kind of a tear like Cal, but just get back in there.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business tonight. Game 1 of a brief 2-game set against the Angels, who are in town. They'll send Bryce Miller to the hill. Mariners sitting in first place as we speak, looking to win their 7th series in a row. And again, just a 2-game series tomorrow, a day game for your Seattle Mariners. Meanwhile, other games set to get underway. You got the Twins on the road against the Guardians, the Orioles playing host to the Yankees, the Cubs taking on the Pirates in Pittsburgh. It's the Reds hosting the Cardinals, and Phillies hosting the Nationals. Meanwhile, in the world of the NFL, The San Francisco 49ers and George Kittle, or as our late professor friend said, Kettle, have come to an agreement on a 4-year deal that will keep him with the only NFL team he's ever known through the 2029 season. The deal was worth $76.4 million, includes $40 million in guaranteed money.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there on a rainy day. This feels like a Seattle day. We get those nice days all in a row, and you feel like, hey, summer's here, and it's not here quite yet. But
I always think about that when, the draft choices are coming in. And they're like, oh, yeah, for a day like this, they're like, oh, yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, this is what I've heard about, coffee and rain. Yeah, so, but I think it's supposed to be starting to get nice tomorrow, and then Thursday is supposed to be really nice.